Woo! You know what? We're going to have a real conversation today. Sorry about the lateness. I thought I put it on 11:45. So I looked at the time and I was like, oh shit. And I'm telling you, I'm going to tell you, we're going to have a real life conversation about this racism stuff, man. We're going to have a real conversation today. None of this pity patty bullshit. None of it. So, number one grinder, got to link up with you again. Good talking to you, you and your lady. Sorry I couldn't make the panel. My son was going through his orientation for high school. We're gonna have a real conversation about racism, bruh. And see, Lorenzo, Ebo Sosa, narrative and dialogues, extended clips, assalamu alaikum, snowman, woo, IKTT, what's up? We're gonna have a real conversation and dialogue about racism. Because if you know me, I'm a very brutally honest person. It's the Aries in me. I am very unapologetically black. And I'm going to start off by saying something about being conservative. Shout out to Art New Style. I'm going to start off saying something about being conservative because I notice a lot of people in these spaces talk about conservatism, but when it's time to do some conservative shit, where are the people? I have Goku when he's fighting the Ginyu Force, and they can't land a hand on him. Miss me and dismiss me with the bullshit. And that's what that represents. I've been in this space for probably 6.5 years. From East Baltimore, by the way. Undefeated in the East. I've been on many different panels. Haven't lost one debate yet. You know what the problem is? When it comes to conservative, the one thing you learn about conservative men is that they are men of service to their communities, to their family, to God, and to country. I've noticed a lot of these brothers who claim to be conservative never had an ounce of service to their community. Not even one iota. Who's more? Brandon Tatum himself can't compare to me. I've been a police officer in a more dangerous environment than him. And I have military service. I'm a war vet. If I was in the white community right now, I'd be a fucking hero. But I'm going to tell you something about racism. A shout out to IKTT. We got all these black judges, all these black attorneys, and all of these black politicians. And you mean to tell me we can't sue the United States like the American Indians did for reparations? Fucking exactly. And Terenzo said it exactly. See, when we want to talk about a conservative man, we want to talk about a guy who actually has his child. When things weren't going right with my child's mother, I took my child and said he's staying with me permanently. I didn't need a court. I don't negotiate. Now, because of all the work that I put in, we're very cordial. And now we're a united front to the betterment of our son. When she thanked me for his progress. See, when you want to talk about being a conservative man, where is your service? Where's your record of it? When did you put your ass on the line? So, like my man Goku, miss me and dismiss me with the bullshit. No matter how conservative or much as a moderate that I can be, I stood up and told people who were friends of mine, I don't have a problem with Clarence Thomas talking about the Second Amendment, in which you have a God-given right to protect yourself, your community, your family, and innocent people around you, and your damn country. I have no problem striking down Roe v. Wade. Hell, I tell this to girls that I'm dating. You know why? I can see why and understand it needed to be struck down. BGS and others talked about it 6 years ago, how they were going to do it. We talked about that 6 years ago. And I always ask this question to women the last few days. Why is it that it's a woman's choice to abort physically, but it's never a man's choice to abort economically, financially? Does a man have a right to abort what he does not want or what he never asked for? But women want to be pro-choice when it's only their damn choice. But I digress. Because men who are truly conservative automatically are pro-family, pro-family values. But no matter how conservative a black man may be, that black man will always tell you the number one enemy of the black society is racism itself. Y'all don't hear me, though. Give me a woo if you feel me on that one. Give me a woo. Somebody put that shit in the chat. Give me a woo if you feeling me on that one. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. And I'm going to address this shit because I went to Supreme King Coon's channel today, along with my fellow good brother, Art New Style TV, when people tried to misinterpret what was said on Art's panel. Every goddamn thing that the black race in America has suffered through, you can point out racism. I'll take Baltimore, for example. We basically almost invented redlining. You can literally go down Preston and have the same architecture and a block or three up, where one house is worth $75,000, another house is worth $475,000. Same year was built, same architecture, but racism doesn't exist. Why was that redlining so special? Do you know the number one way to bring generational wealth is inheritance? $75,000 is a nice chunk of change, but it's not as life changing as almost 500,000. Shout out to Terenzo Jones for telling the truth. Let any of us men abort mission in the middle of a mission and we don't come back home. Facts. What's up, Mel? See, men don't have an addiction to strags. They don't. What men have an addiction to is the indoctrination of their parentage. And for anybody to tell me anything other than racism being the number one damn thing, is lying to you. You wonder why black women act the way they do? I'm the guy who invented. The only reason black girl magic exists is due to black boys' forced mediocrity, white boys' interference, and white girl subterfuge. Of course, we're going to intelligently enough say that not all white people are racist. But all white people know there's a difference. See, the reason why you have the single mother strag, if you will, look who incentivized them. Look who incentivized them. Think about it. Are your schools as funded and promoted to bring greatness in the black community? No. The hell if it's not. Why is there an overwhelming amount of black men in prison compared to anywhere else in the fucking world? You got more black men in prison than there are women in the entire planet. And that's just in one fucking country. But racism isn't the number one issue. Right? When they said you cannot legally discriminate against race, all of a sudden we have something called the SAT, the credit score, all these other tests start popping up, right? See, this is the reason why shit is the way it is. Why care? Who cares why something is? You deal with it. That's what's there's first. No, you gotta care. For every symptom and sign, you have to develop a cure. And what's better than cure is called preventive maintenance. That's why you give a fuck. Racism by the so-called conservative people who have yet to show me anything about conservatism. Why is it that black men are the number one when it comes to homelessness, imprisonment, unemployment, miseducation? You know what? Since you want to answer it, I'll answer it for you. Who's preventing proper families in the black community? Who's incentivizing the fuck shit? Because you have to go to the source of a problem before you can take care of it. The reason why we never make it an option, because guess what? Who the fuck cares about a woman if you can't get a job? Who the fuck cares about a woman if you're homeless? Who the fuck cares about a woman if you're up to your neck in debt? Shout out to South Charlene, Lee Ollie, Namer. Only you make it a fucking point of interest. I don't have the guts to talk about it, nigga. You don't know me very well, do you? Bring your ass up. Bring your ass up. I dare you. Because first of all, you are absolutely got me fucked up. See, I'm putting young black men through training now. What fucking consequence are you to me? You're the ones who stuck on women. Too many of the motherfuckers who are the so-called street niggas, educated niggas, trying to fuck the same bitch. Bring your ass up on here. You got 2 minutes before I block you. Call my bluff if you want. But you fucking cowards won't even come up here and actually stand for yourself. You won't even take an account of yourself. Go ahead. Speak up for yourself. Go ahead. Speak.
My bad. I'm back. Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm A Truism. Words of the Storm Crow. How are you?
Elated.
Great. Now, the reason why I said what I said is because, unfortunately, while you're complaining about issues of racism, the real issue here is improper family formation. That's the problem. See, when you
No, no,
keep
no, 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 no,
killing
no,
the
no,
families,
no, no, no,
well,
no.
wait a minute. So
Why do
now,
we have? Why
are
do
you
we?
going to let me? Are you going to let me say it or not?
When I give you the chance to.
Okay, well then you didn't really
Because
want me to say
we're
anything.
gonna hold you. We're gonna hold you to this shit. Why do we have improper families in the black community?
Well, now that's a very interesting question, but you're not going to like the answer.
Long as you don't give me a bullshit answer.
Well,
So,
I'm gonna give you a truthful answer. The truthful answer is you niggas keep sleeping with your enemy.
see, this is the reason why, right?
You asked.
You niggas don't actually fucking have a clue. Who incentivizes the behavior? Who
No
makes
one.
money off the
It
behavior?
doesn't matter
Who
who
makes
is
money
doing
off the
what. It does
behavior?
not matter. If you put it like this,
See, this is the reason why.
you've been in the military and you're a police officer, right? Correct?
Yep.
Right? Okay. So now, what sense does it make? If you know you've got enemies out there that will pop your fucking head off from 50 miles out, from 50 yards out, if you stick your dumb head up to let them do it, why would your dumb ass go moonwalking right in front of your fucking enemy and let them just fill your whole head full of buckshot or whatever kind of ordinance to come through here, and then complain about nothing.
For you. I'm gonna answer this for you, right? Were you ever in the service?
Nigga, I'm trying to make it something
Nigga,
you can
were
actually
you ever
understand.
Answer the fucking question.
What does it matter if I was in the service or not?
It's a
Nigga, I'm telling you
because
that if you know that your enemy is your enemy, why do you care if your enemy is your enemy? You have to deal with what you have to deal with. Why don't you deal with the situation? Are you asking why your enemy is your enemy, or are you dealing with him?
You're gonna shut the fuck up on my panel when I'm making a statement to you. First of all, this is the biggest enemy we have, because all you motherfuckers don't want to fucking have a conversation. Because way before your women ever turned on you, guess who incentivized the behavior?
It doesn't matter why it was incentivized.
It does fucking matter.
Know that your enemy is your enemy. You have to deal with the enemy you have in front of you. It doesn't matter why you have it. You deal with the enemy what you have.
You're not going to overtalk me on my panel. See,
you deal with the enemy you have. You don't ask why your enemy is.
You got the enemies all around you.
And are you asking why they're your enemy? Or are you dealing with the situation?
No, we've been dealt with the situation.
Then y'all niggas with the situation.
But guess what? Y'all niggas are stuck on the women. Women are just a byproduct.
I'm not worried about the woman.
You are
I'm worried about
y'all
the family.
The
See, you cannot have a family with someone who does not interested in doing that.
Wait a minute. American racism was started by black women?
I'm not even worried about
No. Answer the question.
I'm not going in a time machine with you, bro. I'm not going in a time machine with you, bro. I don't go in the time.
Goodbye. 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 See, this is the stupidity. As soon as you don't want to answer a question, I already know what type of bullshit you on. As soon as you on this bull, we're surrounded by fucking enemies all around as black men. Did you not hear what the fuck I said about black girl magic persists due to black boys forced mediocrity, white boy interference, and white girl subterfuge? How many niggas are hanging in trees or been hung in trees because a white girl lied on them? If you don't know what subterfuge is, nigga. But see, this is the fucked up part about you and people like you. You don't want to talk about who created the situation in front of us. Women have always been subjected to the environment. If the environment allows it, women will act like it. Somebody put that in the chat. If the environment allows it, women will act like it. See, this is where a lot of you dummies get it wrong. Not one motherfucking person talked about women, but you. But you be the same motherfucker trying to push a hood rat into fucking you. Women's behavior is because the fucking environment allows it. You think women would actually fucking throw away McDonald's if the environment didn't have food stamps? You really think that bitch will have 4 kids by 4 different men if the environment didn't allow her to do it? Why do you think all these bitches are upset about Roe v. Wade? Because the fucking jig is up. But notice these so-called conservative niggas never want to talk about racism. Oh, you're enemy of the women. Nigga, we always had enemies. What's new? What's new? Like you're saying some profound shit. Even in racism, does that make every white person racist? No. If you made an environment where women couldn't get benefits just by having babies and they would starve in the streets, they would get their shit together in no time because they are more susceptible to the environment than men. But, you dumbasses don't seem to get it right. Well, you're sleeping with the enemy. Guess what? There are men who married other races of women, and guess what? They do the same shit as black women. Are they subjected to the environment like anybody else? So we're gonna look at black women and their behavior. Does that explain why black men are the most incarcerated, the least hired, the most at homelessness? Just because of our fucking women? Are you fucking serious? Are you fucking serious? You do know there's a whole fucking empire with their foot on the back of black men's necks. You do know just a few months ago they put out a report that the government had 50 million jobs, but it's costing them $100 million not hiring black men. They rather lose money than to hire your black ass. That's the fucking reason why racism plays out. How many times I tell you, women are a byproduct. Women are a fucking byproduct. And this silly Negro didn't even want to talk about racism. It's funny how throughout American history, we praise Al Capone, we praise John Gotti, but aren't any of the black gangsters held in such revered status? But you niggas seem to fail with all this so-called faux conservative shit. Because a conservative man is supposed to see generationally. Does American culture big up Larry Hoover? Bumpy Johnson? Nah, it's all good, DC. He didn't have smoke. Niggas like him, they're trying to use a firecracker to try to get it to try to attack me when I'm in Inferno. Frank Lucas, Nicky Barnes, are they held in the same regard as those motherfuckers? Lucky Luciano, Bonnie and Clyde? Hell, Freeway Ricky Ross? No, you know what white America going to tell you? They're going to tell you that they're criminals. Please, oh please. Shout out to Harold George for the super chat. Tell me this. When do black men get to be mavericks? Big Meech. What's up, Big? What's up, BGS?
Hey, Charles, what's up?
What's up? See,
Yeah,
I
go ahead.
just opened up a panel because I really wanted to have a talk about racism.
Mm-hmm.
That from the other day, as you could probably tell, it pissed me completely the fuck off.
No, I didn't think you would. I don't think even though you're an Aries, man, we very seldom see that side of you, and you were really animated about it. So, you know, which I've like I said, mostly Charles is he's calm, cool, collected. He jokes around, plays around, stuff like that. But you don't get that kind of animated very often.
And I'm usually very trained and subdued,
Mm-hmm.
fun loving, but because I have a good tight knit relationship, even though we get on each other's nerves sometimes with
Mm-hmm.
my parents never spared me from racism. They actually had to tell me ugly truths.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bring everybody up in a minute, so hold on for a second. And when you have parents, because my mother's the same age as you, my
Mm-hmm.
my dad's 65,
Right.
and remember, that means I'm only one generation removed from segregation.
Yeah, you are.
One.
Yep.
We act like this shit happened 200 years ago.
Yeah, because black folks, black folks really want racism to go away because they don't like being under their thumb. So it's just like you being in prison. You hope that the judge commutes your sentence so you can get out of prison. Okay, so you don't have to talk about it or deal with it anymore.
And see, what made it really disrespectful, what pissed me off,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually like X.
Yeah, yeah. It was lively conversation, and I don't think we did. We ever? I don't think we ever disrespected X in anything that we
No,
said to him.
no,
I
but to
don't
go
think so.
over there and
Uh-huh.
to take the conversation yesterday from Art's panel
Uh-huh.
and to try to misconstrue what the fuck was said sets me
Okay.
the fuck off.
Okay. Yeah, they're gonna do that.
And they're gonna do that, but guess what? They're never just like this Joker who was just on,
Yeah.
probably from their camp. Why don't you talk about race? Women are a byproduct of the environment. They're gonna act whatever the
We're
fuck
we're
the
we're
environment
we're we're
allows.
all byproducts of our environment. Okay,
Exactly.
even the black men, even he's a byproduct of his environment because I'm assuming he's a millennial and he's been brought up in a world where they tell you that you're all equal and there's no such thing as race and the world doesn't see color and all that other bullshit. But you as a cop know that's absolute bullshit because they
That,
do profile people.
that's so bullshit when I had to pull a sergeant up who was the acting lieutenant.
Uh huh.
When he said in front of our faces, well, you know, certain neighborhoods, we got to keep it not truth. I'm going to say this now. Stop spamming my fucking channel with your shit. You already put it up there 4 times, man.
Yeah. Be respectful, truth. Otherwise, you're gonna get your wrench taken, and we're not gonna allow you to do that. It's a courtesy. As a content creator, if we know you, it's a courtesy to allow you to actually promote your channel. But don't take it like it's don't abuse the privilege. But go ahead.
And it's funny because we had that sergeant who says, and this was a black guy, well, we got to
Mm-hmm.
keep an eye on certain neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wait a minute. So if the Guilford community or the Homeland community have a cookout,
Mm-hmm.
everything all good, but the folks on Greenmount and Ilchester, we got to keep an eye on them. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But yet, I keep telling these fools keep telling me it's not about race.
Yeah. It's all about race. I
When I
mean,
tell
globally, that's why I tell an X. What you think is you think that what's going on right now in the Ukraine thing and the NATO thing and the stuff between China and the global South is not about race? Come on.
it's trying to preserve.
Hmm.
Okay, and let's be frank about this shit.
Well, hell, you just heard this chick on Trump's thing, right? Talk about Roe v. Wade. Okay, it's about preserving white life. It's still about a race. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
yeah. They keep on trying to misconstrue the truth to look for a narrative that's gonna fit their idiocy.
Yeah,
Shout out to Vulcans. Hell of a name too. Woo!
Volcanus. Yeah,
Kind of.
yeah, Volcanus.
Uh, and what really gets upset is when I told him, I said, "Y'all are supposed to be conservative. Where's your service? Where's your service to God and country, all you conservative men?
Mm-hmm.
Where's all your service? All you do was plant this shit around because you think now you got a nice little group to be the cool kids. Oh, the women are your enemy. Nigga, we're black men. The enemy's all around us.
With the women are your enemy. What did he mean by that?
Well, y'all sleeping with the enemy. The black women are making y'all do this. I said,
What? Okay, okay. The thing is that evidently you don't know your stats. You talk about proper family formation, right? Okay. Before Roe v. Wade, before Title IX, before the what is it? No fault divorce. Okay.
mhm,
You tell me that had no effect on family formation of all races.
idiots. And as a matter of fact, I'm gonna tell people this little known fact.
Mm-hmm.
When abortion was illegal, guess who got abortions the least?
Yeah, black
Black
women.
women.
Yeah.
Guess who got them the most when it was illegal? White women.
Yes. Yeah.
When it became legal, it flipped.
Yeah. Yeah, well, number one, because when it became legal, they made it less expensive, so black women could afford it. Okay, that's the one they did because if the procedure back then, if you had to go to a hospital and get an abortion, like white women did, it would cost you back then. It would cost you like $1,200, right? When
Mm-hmm.
which is back then it's like 1/10 of your yearly salary to get an abortion. Okay.
Mm,
Because
mm,
you got to remember this is 1970s and the average wage, I think the average wage was like maybe $10,000 a year or $12,000 a year. So get an abortion costs 1/10 of your salary, right?
mm.
But under Planned Parenthood and Planned Parenthood clinics, they're offering abortions for like 250, 300.
Exactly.
So poor black women could afford to do what? Go and get their fetuses aborted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In fact, well, under Planned Parenthood, it was easier to get an abortion than it was to get um what is it pills.
Yeah. Think about it.
Hmm.
And it's like I told my friend. She's from PG. She got dual masters.
Hmm.
And she said, "Well, it is about a woman's choice." I said, "Even though you got 50% of my genetic material," but I said, "Okay,
Yeah.
let's go with your woman's choice thing. Do we get to economically and financially abort the children, or are we still on the hook, whether if you want the child or not?" And she
Yeah.
got quiet.
Got quiet. Yeah.
And
Because
that's, go
yeah.
ahead.
But the thing is that this is something I'm actually gonna have to do a video on, right? It's called I think I talked about it last night. Parents patria, right?
Mm-hmm.
Children are determined by in Western law as wards of the state, right? And
Yeah.
and basically you're assigned parental rights. Okay. And basically, if you think about uh, my body, my choice, and abortion, right? Okay, as soon as that child under Western legal doctrine is viable according to whatever legal standard it is, that child becomes a ward of the state, and you're not allowed to kill that child without permission.
Nope. And you got to think about it.
Hmm.
There's a reason why there's a CPS.
Yes.
There's a reason why the state will take over that child.
Well.
By the way, sometimes the child is better off with the state because, hey, when they turn 18, they give them apartments. Ask me how I know.
Yeah.
Because when I have to go to these group homes and they're
Hmm.
not adopted, they actually have to put them at 18 years old, hell, sometimes 17, in their own apartments and
Yeah.
paid for.
Yeah. Because the state has taken on the parental role.
What's up to the general, Zachariah? What if certain people knew their demise was coming through a certain race, but couldn't be sure of the family? Genocide and eugenics is a subtle game.
I don't have no idea what you're talking about, man. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm gonna bring everybody else up now, and
Yeah.
and see,
Everybody wants to be cryptic.
yeah. I mean, they, like you always say, never trust a Jedi down a hallway, never trust a Skywalker down a hallway, and
No.
never trust a Kenobi, never trust a Kenobi with the high ground. Shit. Shit.
Hey, good evening, gentlemen.
Man.
You ain't
What's
shit.
going on?
You
Hey,
ain't
Brian.
shit. You ain't shit. Never trust a Kenobi with the high ground. Okay.
Never trust a Kenobi with the he gonna slice
You
you.
just Darth
DJ,
Vader up.
you forgot to say about God bless.
That's a question.
What's that? What's your question? What happened?
AB?
Oh no.
Go
No,
ahead.
I said
Maybe.
motherfucker. That wasn't me to ask the question.
Oh, go ahead. What's the question?
What was the question?
I didn't ask a question.
Oh, I thought you had a
Mr.
question.
Hurt.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I
All
said,
right.
yeah, he did mess Darth Vader up in that last episode.
Yeah, you told him
Oh
anyway.
yeah.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Yeah, well, basically they putting all the
That
Star
voice
Wars
guy,
characters
Peter Willie.
on super Saiyan powers, man.
Yeah,
Oh
like
no, not the
They'll
Super
be
Saiyan powers.
they'll be moving planets next with the Force.
Oh boy.
How you doing,
Man.
BGS? You doing all right?
I'm doing all right, sir. How about you, Snowman?
Hanging
Yeah.
in there.
All right,
Hanging in
that's all
there.
you can do. That's all you can do.
Still every day getting stronger. Still kicking cancer's ass when no one expects me to.
Oh, yeah, that's all
Y'all
you can
want
do,
Oh,
man.
yeah. I'm sorry to hear that.
Y'all want a story about race? How about this?
Mm-hmm.
I was at Duke University Cancer Center. My wife and I were.
Mm-hmm.
And they told both of us, and Charles, I told you this already, they told both of us that the tumor that I had was inoperable.
Mm-hmm.
Wife said, fuck this shit. We're going to get another opinion and get some help. So we're up here in Indiana, got hooked up with an oncologist, and they were all minorities. In this case, they helped us. Oncologist said, let me make a phone call. I meet Dr. Attila Nakib, and the next thing you know, I'm recovering. They got this tumor out of me.
Okay.
And that was
if you don't mind me asking, what form of cancer do you have?
pancreatic.
Ooh.
Pancreatic. Okay. Because we in the manosphere we have a female genetic engineer, right? That her specialty is cancer.
Doctor. The doctor don't call me doctor.
No, yeah, doctor don't call me doctor. Yeah, this chick has a double PhD and
Wow.
has a postdoc
I
fellowship.
believe it.
She's got not one but 2 federal grants. Okay.
Why do we
Damn.
call the reason why I gave her the
And
nickname, the scientist supreme?
Yeah,
There
very
it is.
brilliant.
There it is.
But one day, just email. I think Charles might have her email, but email me.
I gotta look for it because I gotta look for Nicole Ali's information. But but look for Nicole Ali on YouTube just in case if I can't find it.
Okay.
Or forward his email to me, Charles. And,
okay, put your email in back chat.
Yeah. And
Who got you?
So even if she can't do anything, she can consult with you.
Excuse me, Snowman?
Go ahead,
Yeah,
man.
emails in the back chat.
Okay.
Emails in the back chat.
Anyway,
I think we got a delay.
yeah, like what I was saying, when you had your cancer surgery, what organs did they remove again, Snowman?
Say again?
What was removed?
When they operated, what was removed?
They can't remove
When they
his
operated
pancreas. They just had to take the tumor out.
You take
Part
the
of my
tumor off.
the tumor was removed, but also my spleen, part of my stomach, part of my left kidney.
Oh, it's pretty bad.
There were a couple other things that were that were taken out. And the one thing I got to remember, as much as I love food, I can't eat everything in sight now because I literally and figuratively don't have the stomach for it.
Yeah.
And that was like one of the biggest lessons when I've had to deal with vomiting and nausea and diarrhea. I couldn't eat for a while, and for a long time, I didn't want to eat because I didn't want to be stuck in the bathroom all day. But my wife knocked some sense into my head and she says, look, I can't have you down to 208 pounds again. And thank God I'm up to 249 right now.
Okay.
But here's the back. You want a back door being kicked in? You want to see Charles pissed off? Listen to this story. I got classified as disabled. I just can't get paid for it.
Oh, that's fucked up.
That's fucked up. But yet, racism doesn't exist.
Yeah, pancreatic cancer is brutal. I had an uncle that passed away from it.
Even though the fact that your stomach, the size of your stomach's been reduced, so your ability to process energy is affected. So your ability to even function and move that's some old.
I mean, I have to be careful
shit right there.
I got to be so careful when I even take my daily meds, because some will race right through me and some won't. It took me a couple months and 3 extra trips to the hospital, either ER or in the hospital itself, to figure out what meds are needed and what I have to do. I'm taking a digestive enzyme right now whenever I eat, and like I said, I can't eat as much as I did before, and I'm even learning how to breathe different, especially when I do play-by-play, because when I got out of the hospital in May, this is after a second trip, I was scheduled to do a baseball game with UNCG, and I only got to the 4th inning before my stomach and my chest decided to act a fool. And I was so distraught. And to use Charles's words, yeah, but racism doesn't exist, right? Well, tell it to this black man that was told he was disabled but can't get paid for being disabled, and still being told to put his chin strap up, pull his big boy pants on, and just take care of business. Tell it to this.
Hold up, and shout out to DC. And Mingoism says, hopefully I'm pronouncing it right. I'm 6 years prostate cancer free. That's what's up. Shout out to you. And DC, if you come on the link's in the chat. Come on up, DC. And DC made another point: medical apartheid. Nobody ever looks at how. And I keep telling people, I said, look, if you're going to tell me that we need more to focus on the women, okay, I could buy that a lot better than telling me racism isn't the number one thing. I said, but at the same time, why do we focus on the women? Because the women predominantly has the fucking children. And it's by design. This is the reason why there's so many men who said the same damn thing. I had to take my son to save his masculinity. But I'm going to sit here and have grown-ass men, well, racism never affected me. Nigga, that's because you were kissing their ass. As soon as you get out of line, you really say what's up, that's when the fucking full might, I mean the goddamn Herculean might of racism will fall upon you. Go ahead. You know what's going to happen? All of a sudden now, out of nowhere, you're going to have about 20 white chicks talking about you touched them. But racism doesn't exist.
Shit, they could be calling you all type of names beyond just that.
Racism isn't about names. Racism is about power. Can I affect you? Can I affect
power
your
life? Power and action. Power that leads to the action within. I already told my story about being at Duke, and I see it all around me. Hell, I saw it all around me for 2 years when my wife and I lived in North Carolina.
And I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna say this to a lot of brothers who date interracially. Stop acting like life is grand once you date outside. Any man who's married or in a long-term relationship with a woman outside his race will tell you that shit is not easy.
Oh, hell no.
Especially if you're in the South.
But I'll tell you, BGS, I got a real funny story to tell you. To echo Charles's point. we went. Jody and I went to a burger place. Decided to go drive through when we were going from Durham to Raleigh, and we make our order. Jody calls it out, and we're getting ready to pull up to the window, and Jody looks at me immediately and says, "Get your wallet and get your card ready." Didn't register at that second, but then I took a peek in the window to see who was taking the order, and I didn't say another word. To a point, didn't have to say another word.
Okay.
Because the way that she looked at my wife, I was like, oh
okay.
no, I don't want to get in any kind of trouble. I do not need to be in jail in North Carolina. But you want to talk about instincts kicking in at the last second? Oh, they kicked in all right.
Yeah.
This is why Dave Chappelle always asks that important question. Oh, go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead, Ryan.
They kicked in.
So you had to be ready. Did you leave, or did you still pay for the food?
Poopy.
Yep. You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
Smart one. Yeah, smart one.
I mean, half the time,
even in California, bro, because I'd be like, man,
you ain't got to look. You ain't got to tell me twice. you don't have, you don't have to tell me twice. We still get looks. I don't know if it's more so because we're back in Indiana or whatever, but man.
Boy, yeah, I'm from Indiana, so.
What part of Indiana?
Indianapolis.
Indianapolis.
Yeah, there's more black here, but I would watch where I go in some of these small towns in Indiana because they're known as sundown towns. If you don't,
you look, found that out when we moved to Columbus, which is an hour south of Indy, and Indy is where I had my surgery. And was treated great at the IU Med Center in Indy. Was treated great there. When we got back to Columbus, that's where problems arose.
But by the way, Snowman, a lot of these so-called people will tell you, "Oh, that only happened in the 50s."
Bullshit.
Look,
this is 2022, and my wife and I, we just celebrated our wedding anniversary together, 4th year together. Congrats. We got stories on top of stories on top of stories that'll put the 50s to shame.
But yet, I constantly get told that here it is, you got a black man who's a cancer survivor and ass kicker. Mm-hmm. And hopefully, if we got anybody who knows a good lawyer in that area, can hook our brother up to get his benefits, because I say shoot the fuck out of him. But your health is more important. So when you get right and ready, we'll get you ready. And see, this is the point that it gets at. How many times did BGS, Art New Style, AB, hell, even Mr. Z, when he started his channel, how many times have we pointed out the discrepancies in race alone for black boys and everybody else?
Yeah.
Since Charles and I have been on the air together 6.5 years ago, almost 7 years ago.
Yeah. Talking about men's rights back then.
Wow.
And 6.5 years ago, Charles and I met. How did Charles describe it? 2 black men and a white man. Our good friend Matt Granahan were on the phone for almost 4 hours talking about men's rights, and throwing all kinds of racial epithets that people didn't want to hear that happened to us because of our children.
Mm-hmm. And here's the easy part. How many? It's funny because even my friend, she was like, "Well, how many men want their children?" I said, "Black men were found out to be the most active fathers in the family."
They are. Yep. In fact, so much so that the black men are considered the best stepdads on the planet, because we do more than anybody else.
And you're talking to one, because when I met my wife's children, they took to me like a fish. It took them a while, but they took to me like a fish to water. Especially.
There's one thing that comes out of the slave tradition, because there were so many. Number one, there's so many black men died early, and so many men had to lost their jobs or whatever had to be split up. So we have a tradition of actually adopting, taking on kids and taking on a woman and
Right.
kids. That's normal to us. And basically, until recently, it was very normal for a black man to just accept a black woman, whether he had kids or not, a black woman with children from multiple men. It was just normal for us. And
Yeah.
that's like I see all these black women getting upset that black men are refusing to do it now because they have counted on that for generations. So
Yeah.
And
so
Yeah.
black men accepting kids and bonding the kids is extremely normal for us. But go ahead.
when I met my son Dakota,
Mm-hmm.
Jody said something to me that has made me laugh to this day, and it's so true because she wanted to take a picture of Dakota and I the first day we met 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So what do Dakota and I do? We start acting silly.
Okay.
She's trying to take pictures of me and Dakota making goofy faces, and I'll never forget what Jody said to me. She says, "I swear he's biologically your child if that were ever to be the case, because
Mm.
y'all act just alike."
Mm-hmm.
And that was the day I gave Dakota a big hug, and I give him a hug every time. I hug all my children and my grandchildren. I mean, to a point, I don't even use the word step when I talk to him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, these are my children. Period.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm kind of
Have they
glad
taken your
you.
last name, Brian?
Yeah,
I go
can I get in
ahead,
for a minute?
AB. Go ahead, AB.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, AB.
I'm about to get a little personal here. I'm kind of glad you had a successful search with IU because right now I'm going through IU to get a kidney transplant.
Ooh.
Mm,
Okay. Wow.
wow.
I've talked to Charles about this behind the scenes, but yeah, I'm on dialysis right now,
Wow. Okay,
Yeah.
man.
Man,
Wow.
man.
That's tough.
Yeah.
and I got the scars to prove it.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah.
Understood.
I've had a few friends on dialysis, man. Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna tell you now,
Understood.
if it ever happens to you, for the
Mm-hmm.
love of God, do not get the catheter out of your chest. Don't let him put that catheter in your chest.
Mm.
Oh, then
Wow.
not. I'm going to be strong enough where I don't require a catheter. So help me God, I'll be strong enough
Yeah.
where I don't
And
require a
and look,
catheter.
I'm just gonna show you. Take it in the arm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
15 and
Yeah.
a quarter needles every three
Ooh.
days.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
So
Mm,
they haven't put any kind of permanent valves into your body yet? Because normally
Um,
for long term dialysis they put the valves in.
yeah, they did surgery on my arm, and every now and then I have to go back to the Kidney Institute
Okay.
in Indianapolis. And
okay.
interesting fact that I learned when I was applying for my kidney transplant.
Mm-hmm.
There are multiple hospitals in Indiana, but there are only two places you can get a kidney transplant. That's St.
Mm,
Vincent's and IU.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, AB, I got an offer for you. With everything that's going on with me and me getting back into broadcasting and everything, should I get the opportunity to broadcast over my radio network the Circle City Classic, I'd like to have you as a guest. And I'm not talking about just on the air either. I'm talking about in the damn booth on that Saturday afternoon.
Okay.
Okay, be the first time I ever been to Lucas Oil.
Well, I'm gonna
Damn,
well,
man,
I'm
what's
gonna try
that?
to make it happen. I'm gonna
Man,
try to
what's
make that happen because I invited a friend from Connecticut to
Mm-hmm.
be my radio partner for the afternoon. I may have a sideline partner, but I just want to be able to bring some people along with me for the ride as I continue to kick cancer in the ass and live life and show, especially the men, that not only can it be done, but it will be done. Oh, and by the way, to people who doubt me, and there's a lot of people who do, I'm going to turn that Saturday, September 24th, into a $20,000 payday.
Mm.
Hell
damn?
yeah. And
Hey,
Look
hell
at
yeah.
you.
I'm gonna
That means good luck.
I'm gonna
but
tell
yeah,
you.
I've had it for a while. I just didn't want to talk about it. But
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's pretty.
You're good.
It's serious. Yeah.
Reach
That's
out to me. Listen, reach out to me
Hey,
whenever you
what's your
need to
question?
talk.
put
I
your
mean, I mean that. I
put
mean that to everybody on this panel. Find a snowman
Yeah,
whenever you need to talk about something. I mean it.
because
I
what's
mean it.
going on with What's going on with all these this kidney failure, BGS? What's going on with all this? I see this trend in my family too. Is it genetic? Is it wear and tear?
Environment.
It could be environment. It could be
Combination. I think
pesticides.
it's a
It could be
combination.
genetics. It could be a whole bunch of things.
Yeah, it's a
And remember,
combination.
the food we eating is also compromised genetics as well.
Yep.
Possibly, but there's, like I said, it's.
Oh no, it is. I talked to a person that's food. It is.
What I'm saying is it's a combination of a whole bunch of things that can cause kidney failure. Say if you catch a certain disease, right? Sexual transmitted disease can cause kidney failure. There's a lot of things that can cause kidney failure. So it's not just one thing.
Well, Charles, I'm going to go ahead and get off of here, but I put my Cash App and my PayPal in the back chat, and with your permission, I'd like to post it in the main chat before I get on out of here and get myself cleaned up and go to bed.
Go ahead, man.
Yeah,
we need to get y'all brothers some stem shots. We need to get y'all some stem cells to get y'all brothers right.
They got to make the stem cells and all this kind of stuff.
They do.
Because they do.
But that'll get you right.
What they can do it, but the thing is, to get people to accept them morally is a different story. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to hit that shit on my knees, BGS.
And then there's a whole thing called money and profit.
On your knee.
Yeah.
So
because the tendon.
So are you having an ACL issue?
Who?
Just just wear and tear and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Are you trying to make it to the league? Are you trying to play?
Yeah.
Play professional?
Yeah. Just keep my body solid.
You're going to have to watch that.
Yeah, they got stem cell for knees. It's not as hard. It's the from what I'm learning.
Knees is easy though.
Hips are the problem because they're weight bearing. But that's a different story altogether.
BGS, it was good talk. It was good talking to you. Good talking to a couple of the OGs.
You brought up,
BGS and Charles.
I emailed you. I emailed you Nicole's email address, so you get a chance to reach out to her and see if she's got some information for her, because that is.
I appreciate it.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. Tomorrow night, I'm gonna go back to doing my live fundraisers. I'm probably gonna set it for 9:00. Charles, I'll make sure I get you the information. BGS, I'll email you. Spread the word to everybody, because it'll have all of my information, my channel information, my Cash App, my PayPal. Because I want to get some people talking sports, like I did that one night when I honored the Baltimore Ravens, and I'm going to do it again for one brother, Tony Siragusa, God rest his soul. In fact, if I can find the clip, and I believe I have it, I'm gonna play the clip of Greg Gumbel introducing Tony Siragusa at Super Bowl 35 to kick off the show. So it'll be at 9:00. It'll be at 9:00 tomorrow, and I'll make sure Charles gets the information. BGS, OG friend of mine, I'll make sure you get the information as well. And anybody that sees my email in the back chat, drop me an email, and I'll put y'all on the mailing list. So whenever I go live,
what's going on? You announcing for the Super Bowl?
Hold on.
No, I wish.
Hold on.
Greg Gumbel and Paul Odin beat me to it.
We got 110 people watching.
Okay.
That's everybody. Put your link in the channel. Everybody go go subscribe to the channel. We support.
Go to right now.
Let me put the link in. Let me put the link in there right now before I get off of here. I'll put my YouTube link, my PayPal, and my Cash App. So if y'all can help with the Snow Strong Carolina movement, that would be fucking awesome, because the goal is $100,000 to cover any cost, so we can find a place, get some roots down, and UNCG is waiting for me. They're just waiting on some people to get in place, because they want me to call their games for like 3 or 4 different sports.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So you're trying to establish an organization.
I'm trying to go home, and home for me is right now Hope in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
Because Jody and I had always said before we moved up here that if we were in a bigger city, because we were in this little podunk town called Henderson, which is an hour away from everything, an hour away from Durham to start with, that if we were in a bigger city, we'd have better opportunities. Well, one's come a calling, and I want to take full advantage of it and turn it into not only do I want to turn it into a salary, I want to turn it into a living and take pressure off of my wife.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
I want to take some pressure. I want to take some pressure off of my wife, especially financially, because she's done so much for me in the past 2 years. And it wouldn't be, and especially being kicked in the ass by the government saying, "Oh, you're disabled. We're just not going to pay you for it."
Because they Social Security should have kicked in because they maybe it's the timing. If it had been under Obama, it might have been a little
Yeah.
differently. But Obama did that for a lot of people. So you know,
Yeah.
say what you want to about him. There's good things about him. There's not so good things about him. But that's one thing that he did. So.
All right, Charles, all the info is going in the main chat right now. And as soon as I sign off, I would love for you to promote the daylights out of it. It's 9 p.m. tomorrow on my channel. And we're going to be talking a little bit of everything.
All you got to do is text me and I'll put it in the community chat.
You got it. And let me put my PayPal up here real quick. So if anybody that's listening right now can donate to our cause, before I call it a night, or even if I see it in the morning, that would be great.
I'm gonna tell you
that would be great.
From 7 years ago, I got to do the same thing when anytime the snowman leaves my chat, he knows what I'm gonna say. You know what? Man, give Jody a kiss. Give Jody a kiss and tell her the champ said hello. Woo!
You got it, partner. And woo to everybody. To all the OGs and everybody, and BGS, I'll say once again, it was good talking to you, man. It's been a while, but it's good talking to you.
I appreciate you, man.
Hey,
I'll be catching your show in the morning, Snowman, when I be getting up for work.
Don't forget to tune in for all you sports lovers. So guess what? We always talk about this channel being multifaceted. So if you ever think y'all know about sports, you haven't met the Snowman.
Oh well, we probably need an NFL preview.
At
some point. Yeah, man. That's some stuff I want to.
When I do that NFL preview in August, I expect to hear from you.
All right, hey, you will.
And Charles, I expect to hear from everybody on the panel. The links are up. I'm heading to bed. Like I said, Charles, if you could promote it, if you could promote the links that are in the chat right now, I'm gonna skate on out of here, get some sleep.
Yeah.
Because I got a kick-ass show to do in the morning that I'm gonna turn into $2 billion annually.
And also, Snowman, if you can, cut yourself a trailer if you don't have one already. So,
working on it.
So we have a pre-recorded shows. We can dump your trailer in at the beginning before the pre-recorded show starts.
I'll have it done within 24 hours.
All right.
I'll have it done within 24 hours. I just need y'all to email me. I will cut the trailer with my partner, but I'll cut it solo if I have to. But I will cut the trailer, and within 24 hours, y'all shoot me an email. I'll send it to everybody.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
I love you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you,
man. Get some rest, man.
I will.
And
because that's another thing I wanted to add into the space, specifically that fitness content. But how I do it is I talk about it differently, like more in terms of the real sense of what's actually going on, not talking about like the ranking system and stuff like that. Because that's what a lot of the typical announcers get on. They start talking about that bullshit that distracts from what's actually going on.
Yeah.
For to talk about the science. And there's another thing, like with my fitness content, just my content in general, I mean, I would appreciate it. Like if anyone has criticism, because I've noticed that there are some people watching my content, but if you guys have criticism, if there's any way I can improve, like please leave a comment. Like that is exactly what the comment section is for. Like that's
Yeah. No more ashy knees.
Oh, shut up, nigga. Who the fuck is little shea butter ass nigga?
But anyway,
moisturized Dolphin looking ass.
Back to our regularly scheduled programming, okay?
Right.
Before we drift too far.
The BGS drift is real. BGS drift is real. See, you just had the Snowman tell you about how race affects you. And shout out to DC up on here. You got to have the DMV brothers with the dark, smooth voice, and you also have Mr. Z. And it's funny how we always people say, well, you're always talking about race. I said, well, because a lot of shit doesn't leave me alone when it's about race. I'm a police officer. Do you know how many times I've been pulled over at gunpoint?
Yeah. Yeah. You've been
Wait. Hold up. So you telling me that SNL shit is real? You got to be kidding me.
Do I look like a cop every day I walk out the house?
Yeah, there have been.
But you have a badge.
But the thing is,
matter.
if you don't have the uniform on, okay, and you're walking down in your civvies, especially if you driving your own car, there's a lot of black policemen have been killed by their own police force. That's not unusual. In fact, when it happens, they really don't talk about it.
Yeah, and a lot of times people be like, well. And it's funny because when you talk to black people think you stop being black when you get into a certain profession.
No.
I don't know about that.
It's funny. Bullshit. It's funny because one.
Look, Clarence Thomas.
Because if it's funny, right?
Damn right.
I like guns and I like shooting guns and doing all kinds of fun shit. Even went down to Pennsylvania to try out their range. And also because they have a whole bunch of ammo I bought. Still got it. Still could put a 12-gauge slug down about 50 yards. Boom, right there. And it's funny because you said that I got a badge, but how much luck do black men have digging in their pockets and pulling something out in front of cops?
Mm-hmm.
I think that you know, if we're going to do this right, what's going on?
He was reaching for something.
Neymar, calm down, man.
And salute to the brother that was up here, man. Snowman, man, love and light to you, man. Hopefully, you know, the Creator bless you and your family and everything, man. And,
right. Yeah.
You know, that's first and foremost, man. You know, and also to UAB, man. God bless, man. Hope you have a successful transfer of a kidney also, and man, I wish you love and light,
man. Because my cousin went. My cousin
finish.
So if I can grant some time, I wanted to present some evidence because I think that it's very, very important. I think that I want to stay out of the anecdotal when it comes down to a topic as serious as claiming that everything is race, and I think that the understanding needs to be there as far as the reason why that is said. And I know that BGS has kind of went forward, but I want to kind of give some context to the living process, the idea of how it became kind of codified into law. So I wanted to read something from the Black Codes, if that's okay. With you, Brother Charles, is also included in our area because that's where it all originated from.
Hey,
so it's going to include Virginia and Maryland. So
I've always talked about redlining. You got the floor. I'm gonna mute up my damn self. I need to hear this.
But his voice is gonna shake the words off the page, so I don't know.
Cool. Because I want to present facts, and then, you know, like we can go back and forth about everything else, but there needs to be a transition as far as like the information from my perspective, because anecdotal and, you know, what I feel and this happened to me, that's obviously not going to work, especially when you're talking about something as serious as this. So free blacks presented a challenge to the boundaries of white dominated society. In modern southern states, particularly after Nat Turner's insurrection of 1831, they were denied the rights of citizens to assemble in groups, bear arms, learn to read and write, exercise free speech, or testify against white people in court. After 1810, states made manumissions of slaves more difficult to obtain, in some states requiring an act of legislature for each case of manumission. This sharply reduced the incidence of planters freeing slaves. All the slave states passed anti-miscegenation laws. Now, we all know what that basically includes. Of course, we know that don't include basically black women basically birthing white men's children. That's all about us, black men. Banning the marriage of white and black people. Between 1867 and 1865, Virginia enacted more than 130 slave statutes, among which 7 major slave codes, with some containing more than 50 provisions. Maryland passed vagrancy and apprentice laws, which means that you couldn't hang out on the streets, and plus you couldn't basically teach a trade out in open. So if you knew how to carve up an actual ship or make a house, that cannot be known, even as far as Maryland. Right? Maryland.
Literally, the tip of the base of Dixon line.
Yeah, it prohibited. I know a lot of people be forgetting that, Charles, but it prohibited immigration of free blacks until 1865. Most of Maryland black code was repeated in the Constitution of 1867. Back to the compromise also. We need to go over that, BGS, whenever you're ready. Black women were not allowed to testify against white men whom they had children, giving them the status similar to their white wives. And that's just begin with that. Just want to go ahead and get the facts straight, because when you talk about race and this kind of, oh, don't affect me, this and that other, we went over sex, economics, public, being free to move, apprenticeship, being an actual parent, education, all of it. Just in that particular state, 130 laws were passed. Go ahead.
But they don't hear you though, DC. People don't understand.
I'm just here to present the facts, man. I'm just here to present the facts. I know they're listening though.
Just like I had to tell just like I told SKC, right? How many of your white friends would trade places with you for being black? Everybody was quiet. I said, here's the crazy part. When they talk about, hey, we need men to be this, I'm actually putting a 19-year-old through special police training. Hell, I'm teaching some of the damn course.
Okay, can I say this really quick? And I think what's really important.
Go ahead.
Because I talk about the forced classification. That goes into that also, the forced classification part, which means that they're separating the black women that was basically raped by the slave owners and letting them, when they bear children, they're putting them into the black codes too. Not by choice. This is by force. But what I wanted to say was that when people hear the word black, I think they're forgetting about it. It's treatment. This is not about, oh, we're dark skinned and, we share some biggity black, and, I'm black. And that's just like, this pro-wax stuff. No. That's not what I'm talking about. Now, I know what a lot of other people may be talking about, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not trying to make it into this kind of novel thing. You talk about blackness, you're talking about treatment. You're talking about a forced classification put onto people of little to of a lot African descent and being treated or mistreated by those that are classified as white. I didn't want to go back as far as the Bacon's Rebellion, but I think it's important to talk about what happened after slavery, because to me, that's when all this particular, treatment comes from. The lie that they basically said, okay, you niggas are free, but you're not really free.
Not really free.
Yeah. No. So that's the reason why I talk about the free blacks too, because these codes, all these imaginary so-called black slave owners, no, they have black codes for them too. Like if they caught them outside at the wrong time, they could be lynched. Everybody knew this.
Right.
That's facts. It's not a lie.
Think about it, DC. If you forget 1860,
but that don't. But about
1940? What about
have no effect on us? No effect on us.
What about 1945, 1946, 1947?
The thing is,
I'm getting there, Charles. I'm running it up.
And the thing is until the Vietnam War. Until the Vietnam Wars, most black veterans could not get veterans benefits. That is that's what Monahan and Monahan was talking about, right? Okay, if they go into the military, give them the same benefits that you give the white people, okay? Because that didn't happen until the 60s. How many wars did black men fight in and didn't get veterans benefits until the 60s? That just happened.
Yeah. And what what really messes me up? It's when I have to put things in perspective, and I had to tell my son and a couple of my wrestlers, I'm 40, not an old man, but I'm not 21 either. do you even? I said y'all don't even understand how fucking close you were to the crack epidemic. Y'all don't even understand that my parents, who a lot of you as your grandparents, were in segregated schools when they were kids. My mother vividly, and see, this is the part about having parents with some age and some experience. My parents told me where they had to go straight the fuck home when King and Malcolm were assassinated.
Mm-hmm.
And they said they tore the fucking city apart. So for all those people who said black men took it on the chin, no, they did not. Jesus Christ, they did not. And when you don't even understand that within certain people's lifetimes, my grandfather is a strong kicking 90-year-old guy who doesn't look it. The shit that he told me about the family farm that still exists in North Carolina, where some of my great aunts and uncles still live. They had 12 brothers and sisters. It was on some Naruto shit where you're fucking 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 years old, and you had to pick up a rifle to defend your fucking house from motherfuckers with white sheets and torches.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being a 10-year-old boy and you had to take a motherfucker's life to preserve yours.
Yeah.
But we don't hear those stories because, and this is also what I said when I went over there with Art.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, see, a lot of y'all misconstrue history. And this is the reason why a jackass like B. Simone can disrespect a man like Dr. King's status. A great man, a brilliant man, if you really want to talk about it. The man was in fucking college at 15 at Morehouse, which is like a damn Ivy League. And he shed blood for the cause. He and Malcolm knew they were never going to see old age. That is for a lot of you guys out there and ladies, a lot of you don't know how daunting and depressing it could be when you take on a mission and you know you're not going to see old age. You just know it.
Didn't get to 40.
Didn't even get to fucking 40. Put that in perspective again, BGS. I literally outlived Dr. King.
You did. Yeah, you did. One thing I want to ask, man, all these kick-ass dudes that said black men in the past took it on the chin. Where are they at? I mean, I don't see them out there doing all this Rambo stuff. So they're talking about stuff they've never done. So how are they going to judge people about stuff they've never been through and stuff they've never done? Because I'm sure they don't roll around and cops stop them. They're drawing down on cops. You know, I wouldn't suggest it, but I'm saying is I don't see them in the paper.
They don't actually see these things as progress, BGS. They don't even realize that them actually being able to say something to a white person without getting the teeth knocked down their throat and stomped out and then thrown in jail and probably beat up in jail too. They don't even realize that that's progress within itself. They don't really understand what the 1950s and 40s were.
You know what? If you got beat up and got put in jail for disrespecting a white man back down south, you were lucky because 9 times out of 10 they come to you, come drag you out your motherfucking house. You'd never be seen again. They wouldn't even find your body. You know,
and they whole bloodlines, BGS coming to get the son too.
Shout out to BGS. Did you tell them about the other 9 bodies? The other 9 bodies that they pulled out of the same lake that they pulled Emmett Till out.
Not trying to find Emmett Till.
They just pulled him out. They found Emmett Till's body, but there was 9 other people in there too.
And
BJ,
hold on, Pookie.
I'm just saying.
No,
they couldn't even see their faces.
Pookie, chill for a
hold
second. Hold on, Pookie. God damn. Okay. In other words, then they were trying to find his body, but the thing is, they had to dig up. They had to drag for 8 bodies before they found his. His was the 9th.
And shout out to Dead man. Woo! But
they couldn't even.
But
they couldn't even identify.
And you know what the locals said? I said, what's this big fuss about Emmett Till? There's a whole bunch of niggas in that river.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
It was no
And
big deal to them because they said this is
it's a way of life.
normal. It's real life, man.
It's a
to
way of life.
to Charles, she's not the only one that disrespect another female content creator said some similar shit like, well, y'all wanting integration, so now we just gonna hold y'all to the same white man rule. Shout out to Real Talk with Yanni. She's not the only one. A bunch of sisters are
You,
talking that same
you,
crazy shit
you,
about civil rights leaders that died, let me say this better, got murdered for the cause,
you know, you know,
murdered. So
the first people when immigration actually happened to run down to the white stores, it wasn't the men.
yeah, of course. We could finally go to Bird Eyes and with the
Yeah,
white
yeah,
women.
well, they got better meats down there
Uh,
with the white grocery store.
Fine linen and the jewelry. We could walk through the front door. Oh man, hey man, like it's
And
the disrespect.
I don't but the thing is that and the thing is I'm old and I said you guys are younger, so when I hear chicks talking about the shit like that, talk about us, you know what? Guess what, baby? You don't even matter no more. It don't matter. We
Mhm.
don't care what you said because black men have a choice. And guess what? All you doing is like when old grandmother used to say, right? You dig in your own grave with your mouth.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying not to address this, but it's true. Like he does defecate. The comment that's up right now about Jason Black criticizing civil liberties and civil rights leaders. Yeah, so he does that often. And because you have to understand, like there's I bring this up all the time. There's a handful of black people who grandma did own a business, who granddad did own a business, some tire shop, some ice cream shop, maybe a corner store in the South in the 1950s or something, 1940s. And those handful of people, we so glorify their position
You know what?
that go ahead.
I'm going to say this because
Mhm,
he's from Shreveport, Louisiana. That's where my family is from, right? Okay.
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
Negro, you just got to the point where you can look a white man in the eye in Shreveport, Louisiana. Okay, because I was down there on summers when I was a teenager, right? And you walk in a white man's store, and basically
Back in the
you couldn't look him
60s.
in the eye. No, we're talking about in
Oh, I
the
mean,
70s.
70s, my fault. Okay,
Avert your gaze,
So
Negro.
you gonna talk for me now, Chaos? You gonna talk for me or what? I said, nigga, you just talking in the 70s. You just got to the point where you look a white man in the eye. Okay, and really in the
Mm.
80s, okay, because I was there in the 80s on family reunion, right? You just got to the point where you can actually look a white man in the eye. What the fuck you talking about? Now, don't you have kin? Okay, because I'm sure
and
if your grandmother could actually snatch you by your collar, she'd be beating you upside the head till you shut up because you don't know what you're talking about. You wouldn't have
but
got this far.
then
these are the
BJ's.
handful
Is
of
that a long time ago? Wow, I thought it was like earlier, but around the 80s, black
They,
people don't look white people in the eye that long. Shit.
you know what? You basically, man. I have a partner, man. He actually transferred from California to Texas in a business. He had to retire because of freaking racism, the white folks mistreating him. Okay, Texas. Why you think I don't want to live in Texas or Louisiana? Okay, because I know me. I'm like DC. I'm an uppy Negro, man. I'm not gonna survive very long in that environment.
Mm-hmm.
well,
Yeah.
I like I was saying,
Indiana.
And my
the
and
J
my and my aunts and uncles said you don't need to live down here.
yeah.
Like
Well,
what I told Snowman about Indiana.
mhm,
You got to remember we're known as the capital of the Ku Klux Klan. I've talked to
mhm.
brothers that traveled back in the 50s and 60s everywhere, and I've had them some straight up told me I would rather live in Mississippi than live in Indiana back during those times because at least down there they were upfront with you.
Mm,
They can be upfront with you when they dragging you out of your freaking house.
mhm.
If that's the kind of
Yeah,
upfront
well,
racism you want to
you
live
knew
with.
where not to go, but but racism wasn't just in the South. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
definitely.
Oh, that's
oh,
no,
oh,
no.
oh, oh, oh,
That's a fact. Yeah, that's a
mm,
fact. And one of the things that I want to really stay like deadly focused on is the culture part because I think that
Mhm,
that's the argument that most people are going to use. Culture is the main problem that's inhibiting Black people. Lazy Negroes, people that are not, education averse, they're lazy, they're shiftless, they're not doing anything. It sounds very birth of a nation-ish.
They're not industrious enough. Don't forget that one.
Here's how they was able to kind of make it a reality. And see, that's why it's so important to know history intimately. We need to be informed about it because nothing is more American than Black history in this particular country. What is classified as Black history, because a lot of the laws, a lot of the tenets that were created here in this country has a lot to do with the restriction of, number one, the Black male first, and the birthing rights of the Black woman. Hence the reason why abortion was legalized, and hence the reason why it became legal again. This is everything that's basically a movement, a motivation for a group of people to call themselves white, that's from different parts of Europe that generally don't get along with each other. But to come up with a formation where they knew nationalistic, they had to form a grouping because they would be in constant conflict with each other. We have to be able to come together on this, because if class is what should have basically separated everybody, right? If class was really the thing that separated everybody, then America probably would have been split into 2 or 3 or 4 different fractions, if you're looking at history for what it was worth. Because what ended up happening was the so-called indentured servants would have got with the so-called slaves, whether they were Black, white, or whatnot, but they was in the same class. Those were the same people, generally, because they were being mistreated by upper class people. And then those people get together and then they'll go fight those particular people. It will become what it became in Europe, feudalism and all that type of stuff. That's a whole different thing. But what I'm trying to say is racism took over when those people classified themselves as white, and they basically codified that particular response and put it into the treatment. They put it into law. I don't know how else to say it. Plessy versus Ferguson. The Loving versus Virginia, all of these rules, all of these particular court cases that are going back to what race and how to define race, who's going to be treated a certain way, what rights are going to be given, who deserve these rights, and who's going to be treated a certain way. Automatically, it goes into everything that is basically formatted here. When people come from other countries, say like Trump and their father, when they came here, they can envelop themselves into whiteness, even though they come from like royal stock, but they're like Eastern Europe people. So, but they came over here to the Americas and they basically built an empire and basically enveloped into whiteness. But those are not blue bloods. They don't go all the way back to 1700s, like the Bushes and all them. So that what I'm saying is that you have an understanding of what history is and how race is formatted in that, and it basically impacts the people that come after that. And what you're seeing is an environment that is producing the so-called Pookies and Ray Rays. But that environment was created off racism, the redlining, the poorly structured school systems,
right? Yeah,
all of that stuff. When you get down to it, that is not something that was happenstance. It's not, just out of nowhere. I mean, I know you look at The Last Thing and you see guys robbing each other and stuff like that, which is horrible. Yeah, those dudes need to go to jail. They need to be punished to the full extent of the law, because you have to deal with what is basically currently happening now. We can't go back in the past. Nobody's talking about that. But if you're looking for the reasoning for why these things happen, we have to speak to the facts. When you go to a court case, you lay out all the evidence, and all the evidence is in what? In the past. Those people are not talking about the future. They're talking about the past to lay out a case as far as this is the reason why what happened. This is what the reason is. This is the motive. Boom. That's what it is. And that's all this particular discussion is about for me. It's the environment for me. So when racism is talking about it's in everything, when I hear BGS say that, it's a fact, because everything that's moved around it is the environment that basically implicated racism. This whole country
Right.
was. That's what people mean. This country was built on racism.
It
That's
was.
a fact.
Yes.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It was built off free labor, which was basically pushed through racism, which basically pushed us into a classification that we did not agree with. It had nothing to do with the class system.
And racism pushed the natives off the land.
Yeah. I mean, people forget this shit because let's just tell the truth. Because let's just tell the truth. A lot of people, especially black people, look at being black as the losing team. And they really want to circumvent everything. Like I've said it before, black people want to be everything but black. And unfortunately, you're going to have to be very apologetic about shit. Like even during one of the classes I was teaching, and I had to talk, we had one of the instructors white, and there was one white female, myself, the young Padawan, and the other guy, we were black. And when you talk about law enforcement and race, it damn near went hand to hand for a very long time. But you know, people judged and looked at me different when I said, hey, we need more black police. The one thing y'all don't want is the one thing you actually need. And the more we tiptoe around this shit thinking, well, racism never affected me, and I'm talking about you blacks, you dumb motherfucker, even though you're probably going to see the replay. And I've said that so when SKC or anybody else use my shit, I called you a dumb motherfucker. But back to the scheduled programming and back to the Hall of Justice. Like last time I checked, Black said, you're Jamaican and you really think racism never affected you? Aren't you still under the fucking Queen's command?
Ooh. I think there's still common law, if I'm not mistaken.
Aren't you poor because everything
Commonwealth, my apologies.
Aren't you poor because everything you fucking had in your country that was of value, the British took out? But we also have to look at how racism also makes these uppity Negroes who come from other countries look down upon the black people who fought for your black ass to come over here in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You really think, well, the white man never did me wrong? No, the white man was fighting to keep your black ass out. You come over here, you shitting all over people. Well, my family, we work hard and go to school. Nigga, that's because we fought for you too. You got niggas as black as me because they're from Northern Africa. They're considered white on the census, and they wonder why they could get these minority scholarships. See, it's funny. It's funny because people don't want to be black unless it's time to be cool or to get a benefit. People are gonna fuck around. You just heard DC talk to you about the fucking laws they put against free black people. Not the slaves, the freed black people. And then I hear these idiots talk about, well, there were black slave owners. Wouldn't you buy your wife or your mother and father back? Your brother and sister? There's no difference than what the fuck Robert F. Smith did for Morehouse a few years ago. He bought their freedom papers.
Mm-hmm.
Because one of the new slaveries nowadays is economic debt, by the way. But God damn. You got these idiots come out here and say racism never affected me. What the fuck? I don't give a fuck what you do for a living. I don't give a damn what schools you put your children in. What happens when that child is in that nice little car and they're being pulled over by some bullshit, half-baked, never been anywhere, bumpkin ass fucking sheriff deputy? My father such and such, and you're gonna get your nigga card real quick. There's motherfuckers. I'm gonna say this real quick, and you got the floor.
Mm-hmm.
There's motherfuckers that they go through the woods in certain states to this day that they just found.
Mm-hmm.
still hanging, some of them. And guess what these motherfuckers are going to classify this shit? Oh, it was a suicide. I never knew too many people. I never knew too many
Oh man, I hate
who
it
hung
whenever I hear that.
themselves, and in the midst of hanging themselves, they cut off their penis. But go ahead, BGS.
I was just gonna ask. I said, if racism and race and all that stuff is not a consequence and it doesn't exist, how come you don't blend in with the larger and broader black manosphere, white manosphere, I should say? Why are you over here in this little corner?
You know why? Because they don't have the guts to go over there and say, what about our problems in the black community? You know what the white boys are going to say?
It's not
what
our
about,
problem.
What about them? Your nigga wake up. That's the beautiful thing, BGS, about being black in America. Your nigga wake up call is just waiting for you. They don't even send it in the mail anymore. That shit's fresh off the presses and the internet. Email it to you. And see, the more you try to say reality doesn't dictate, the more you're going to be subject by it. These are the same niggas like who gonna say, "Oh, we're playing the victim card." Oh, Officer Faulkner's crying about racism. When the fuck you hear me crying about anything? There's only one time you even heard me cry about anything, and that was the death of my brother, Leon. And that was some. And if you got something to say to me about that, guess what? Let me know. Let me know if you want to meet me in Baltimore. I'll fly out to you, and we can settle it out, man. Out back. I have no shame in crying one of my fallen brothers. But the point being of this, hold on, I'm gonna say this to you. The point being of this, we got too many idiots who want white people to treat them a little bit better in this country instead of focusing on your own shit. You're the same. I really want to ask the panel in the chat, if reparations was given out tomorrow, would them same so-called jackasses give it back?
Nope.
I digress. Go ahead.
And I'm just saying, like, I think it's got to be BGS, because when I go out into the world and I'm actually talking to black people, it appears like a lot of people have like a mental block. Like people are like in their shell about it. The ones that are more delusional, it's like a part of their psyche that has been like driven mad in a sense, and it's something that they don't want to think about. It's just almost like that. It's almost like that Get Out concept from that movie where like when you hit the teacup and they just can't react or respond to a certain extent. It's like almost internal genetic fear, like fear that's deeper than anything like emotional or even at a spiritual level. It's like all the way down into their like whole bones, DNA. Like I don't know.
You know what the thing is that the one person that's in the white manosphere that I really respect constantly is Donovan Sharp. You know, and a lot of people say, why do you respect Donovan Sharp? Because Donovan Sharp has never, sugarcoated about him being a black man, dating white women and dealing in the white world. He said, every time I go out, every time I get into a car to drive around, I know that everything about me has to be on point because I am a black man. I'm seen that way. Okay. I got a white woman next to me and everything has to be on point because I get pulled over. I'm going to get harassed. He knows that. He doesn't sugarcoat it. He said, I decided to do this because it was best for me, best for the way I live. But he said, don't get it twisted. Okay. Don't get it twisted. It's there's things that you have to be aware of, things you have to give up being a black man, dating and living in a white world. That's one thing I like about him. He don't sugarcoat that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And he does it. And you can see his white woman. You can see his clientele. The thing is, but he's honest. And a lot of these dudes ain't fucking honest, man. You can't tell me if you're a black dude and you get pulled over that you feel the same way as a white dude that gets pulled over. That's bullshit. You're basically your sphincter and your guts clutch the same way every other black man's do because they don't know that you married to a white woman or Asian woman and living in a cul-de-sac with white folks. All they see is a black man in a car, and maybe a car better than his. Robert F. Smith knows that. He said, Robert F. Smith, he said when he has to fly out, he said, I get stopped 3 times a month. And I'm a billionaire. Make that make sense. Anyway, I'm through.
I think it's an obsession. It's an obsession with a sense of agency, or better yet, autonomy, that you don't have. And so it's almost like what the women are doing on the other side with that fuck reality, it's all about delusion. So for me, this is how a lot of black men are responding to the reality of being a black man in America, which is, well, if I just tell myself that me and the white man are on the same level because I went to the same schools as him and I drive the same car as him and I might be banging the same type of woman as his, if I tell myself that we're exactly the same, then I'll be treated the same because I won't have this defeatist, nihilistic worldview like these other Negroes. So yeah, and yeah, that
until something that shouldn't have never happened, if that was the case, happens, and then that whole reality and psyche just shatters back into that so-called nihilistic reality.
Yeah, well, they're what you're dealing with people now is to run, like we mentioned SKC, right? Asian wife, you have your mixed kid, right? You live in whatever neighborhood, so you're running as far as humanly possible, so you never have to deal with that, and then you can continue the lie, and then better yet, propagate the lie and push it towards other black men. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm straight. Like, bro, you running, run, Forrest, you running. You're running, right? You're doing everything humanly possible to not be this,
because a lot of people don't have enough balls to be Donovan and just leave. They just want to run and then come back and with their coattails in the community when the checks fly through.
Well, not just leave, but admit certain things. So I agree with BGS. Donovan has a very slick way. Donovan, y'all don't really be paying attention. He be checking them white dudes, but he do it in a different way. He's like, man, you're a good looking white dude. Like he'll say it in a way where, like, if you don't catch it, you think he might be even borderline gay, but he's saying shit to let you know, like, I know the hierarchy here. I know where you rank in this society. I know what I am. I know what you are, right? Where these other brothers, it's almost like an insatiable inferiority complex that's masquerading as confidence and masculinity and manhood, right? Well, if I just pretend like I'm not on the bottom of this social hierarchy and this race hierarchy, then I won't be on the bottom. Yeah, the reason y'all over there on the bottom is because y'all acknowledge that y'all on the bottom. So I'm just gonna mind fuck the hell out of myself and say I'm not here. Yeah.
By the way, Zach Wilde, Thomas Sowell is a disingenuous tool.
Thomas Sowell got.
Oh, y'all done got BGS worked up.
He got bought off by the small hats a long time ago, man. So
yeah. Thomas Sowell is he's a reformed radical, man. Really, he is.
Yeah, that shit is and you were right, BGS. The white homie came with the Thomas Sowell, and I had to tell him, man, that's bullshit, man. He put on like 3 videos, and I was like, look here. I mean, if we talk about the structure of the black community, he was basically framing the argument as the fault of black men, even though that's impossible because we're ultimately just progeny at the end of the day.
He's singing. How many books have you read of his Zach Wilde? Yeah. What institutions does he work for, Zach Wilde?
So you're going to tell me that, number one, anything he says wasn't disingenuous. When he says a lot of this shit that's on the black man's fault, how can the black man find work when the white man doesn't permit him? So basically, Thomas Sowell, especially with his statements, is one of those motherfuckers who would be a cop blaming a rape victim for being a victim.
The thing is, all you got to do is see where his checks come from, Zach Wilde. That's all you got to do. The person that pays your salary is the one that controls your narrative. Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, we already know what this is. This is that. You know what black people are like. I like the Candace Owens of the world. The Thomas Sowells of the world. The Jesse Lee Petersons. Why don't you guys listen to those guys?
You know that Brandon Tatum's a good guy for y'all to listen to, man. He's a
Come
cop.
on, man.
Oh
We know
man.
what this is. We look, by the okay, let me say this real quick, DC, before you go in. Dear white people, stop shoving your sellouts on us, whether that's politically left or politically right. You're
Ooh,
not
say
going to
that
get us
again.
to kowtow because you know what? This black person, this is the guy you should listen to because he's not on the Democratic plantation or he's not on this plantation or he doesn't
Wookie
believe
wookie
this.
woo.
Why don't you guys listen to this guy? First of all, black people
Bruh.
have very unique experiences and they know what country and what world they live in. So you can push out these like naysayers all you want. They can get accolades, they can get their degrees from you guys, whatever it is. It still doesn't change the fact that we have our own experiences. We know where we live. We know what system we live under, and like putting these people as the kind of Negro whisperers to reinterpret Black life back to you is not going to work. First of all, it's never worked, and it's definitely not going to work now in the time of high-speed internet. It's just not going to work. But go ahead.
I'm going to say this real quick, then I'm going to give the floor to DC. When does Thomas Sowell, just like I stated about the title of today, we're going to have a real talk about racism. Just like I told that idiot when he tried to say, well, black women your enemy. I said, who incentivized black women to be that way? Nobody ever wants to go to the source because that source is really, really light and it's usually really, really white. And let's talk about this, right? Because a lot of you white folks were never looked highly upon the high class, the blue bloods of your fucking race people. Y'all were just promised whitehood in name only. All you had to do was get the promise of being slightly treated better than the black, and you would already know where you stand. Yes, he's disingenuous because you will never get him to admit how much money was taken out the black community. You will never get him to admit, why do you have black drug dealers? Well, last time I checked, for example, in Baltimore, we don't have poppy seeds. So how was it shipped? You have a fucking Blue Water Navy. You have a fucking Coast Guard that guards the border 20 miles in and out. So how did these drugs get here without the permission of the powers that be? PC, you have the floor.
Go ahead,
He
DC. I brought to you, because
he downplayed institutional racism in the development of early American life in terms of redlining and stuff like that. There's multiple facets he was disingenuous.
He's not going to talk about that.
And shout out to
Of course he's not.
Shout out to Son is Raw Hot. And happy birthday, man. Let's turn 40. Welcome to the 40 Club. And by the way, we're gonna have some some liquor over across the pond.
You know what the only issue I have with this comment, Son is Hot Raw, it it acts as if there's not a racial hierarchy. It's not white people on the top and every other group of color on the bottom. That's not how it is. It is color coded like that meme that has Peter Griffin with the different colors, and whichever one you are, that's the worst situation you in. It really is that, right? So like we have to be like other groups get to play a different type of game than black people. Isn't that some of the argument that ADOS has with other black immigrants? So if that's happening within the black race, then what do you think that means for a South Asian that's clearly South Asian, not the ones that pretty much look like us, or East Asian, or go ahead. I'm sorry.
Let's put it this way: Son is Hot Rod, why don't you go over and look at what's going on in the Ukraine between the ethnic groups over there, right? And they've been living together for like 400 or 500 years, right? Go over there and see the Poles, the Russians, the so-called Ukrainians, and the other groups, ethnic groups that have to mix together, that have been in that same land mass for the last couple hundred years, and see how they minimize it. Okay, they don't. What do you think's going on over there right now?
And that's the only thing. And race changes depending on where you are. So like South Asians in Britain aren't seen the same way as South Asians in America. So when we think about Indians over here, we don't think about people that pretty much kind of are in the lower caste with black people, and you kind of look at them a little weird, right? They some of them do some shiesty, criminal stuff. that's the same Indian and Pakistani people that half the family come over here to America and half the family go to India. The family that come to America is seen in a better light than the side of the family that go to Britain, because how they structured race in Britain is a teeny bit different than in America. Black people still on the bottom both, but in that middle ground where you get the East Asians and the South Asians and all these other different white ethnic groups, it's different. In America, it's white, it's WASP, and then other whites, and then all the other people of color, and then black people on the bottom. In Britain, it's other white Europeans after obviously the Anglo-Saxons, and then maybe different groups, East Asians, then South Asians, all the way at the bottom with black people. It's different. It depends, right? The other groups get to move around in America in a way black people don't. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead.
I was going to say,
don't forget the Irish and the Scots.
The black people have been trying to minimize race in this country for 200 years, right? Okay, and this is the best it's ever been, and we are hair's breadth from that stuff. Basically, rearing up his ugly head. Look at what happened in that shopping center, okay, in Buffalo. Is that minimized? Look what happened in Charlotte. Look what happened in Charlottesville. Is that minimized?
That was some very grisly footage, wasn't it?
Yeah. And basically, and that's the old 50s racism rearing its ugly head, because that's what used to happen in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. That shit that you just saw. The only difference is they arrested his ass. Back in the 50s and back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s, he might have got off scot-free, or we just can't find him.
Hey, didn't the man who killed Emmett Till get off? Not guilty on the murder charge.
Yeah.
And he was celebrating, smiling out the courtroom, man. Like, I'm sick. I wish people would just be quiet, BGS, because I'm just so tired of this, bro. And I'm young and I'm tired of hearing this. Y'all just need to go on and just do something, or just shut up and die.
All these cats that we need to minimize it and put ourselves in a position. Please show me the template for that to happen, because you can't get in a better position than Robert F. Smith. That's a billionaire, right? He got to deal with it. If he got to deal with it, he's worth like $6 billion. How are we gonna escape that fact? Please tell me.
And a lot of times people have this imaginary, what's the word I'm looking for? This imaginary narrative in their head where I'm not black, I'm OJ. And for some reason, what happens when the fucking empire that America is, run wild on you like Hulkamania?
When the empire strikes back, I had to do it.
Then you're gonna be scared. They're gonna say, "Oh no, Mr. Charles gonna get me." No.
Yep, and see, here's gonna. These are the same Negroes. When they get their black wake up call, they're gonna be looking for other black people to support them. But they the biggest shit talkers about blacks. You let a lot. We're the only group of heroes that allow our heroes to be ran through the fucking mud.
Yeah, go ahead, Charles.
Go ahead,
I was going to say, okay, take example of the difference between those cats that ran up in the governor's office in was it
Michigan,
right? With packing, bearing arms, right? Just run up in the governor's office, right? Marched outside, bearing arms, and pack up. Did they get indicted by the federal government?
No.
With Grandmaster Jay is being indicted by the federal government for what? Supposedly pointing at a federal officer during a march.
Yeah.
Does that
racial tailoring?
So that's fine. That sounds like the equity where you can actually violate a governor's sanctity. Go run up in the governor's mansion while she's there with M16s, right, or AR-15s on your back.
They were going to plan to kidnap her ass.
Well, regardless of what they were planning to do, they ran up in there. None of them were prosecuted. Why is that?
None of them. Let's just talk about it. The governor's just a small president, a chief executive officer of the state. Why weren't they shot on sight?
Yeah.
If that would have been my detail, because that is executive protection, even by the state police, they would have been shot on sight. They were supposed to. They were supposed to be shot. As soon as you come near that motherfucker, you let them have it.
Just take for instance.
You know why?
Go ahead.
I'll tell you why. Because they're the good old boys. If they start shooting and they get the wind of it, they know they're gonna run up in the backyard, really take them out. Like us, you know what I'm saying? Other white people, I'll be honest with you, because they're majority in this country, are not that gonna be so eager to be killing other whites like that. You know,
you up in Oregon. I think it was a couple. One Oregon. I think it was in Nevada too.
Boy,
we had the Second Amendment folks, right? Basically drawing down on federal officers, right?
Oh yeah,
And
yeah,
had,
yeah,
had a,
yeah,
had a
yeah. The
standoff.
standoff.
Had a standoff for a whole
Talking
week.
about that Clive and Bundy thing?
Yep.
Yeah.
that was in Arizona, wasn't it?
No, that
I
was
thought
in
that was in
Oregon.
the South somewhere.
It was in Oregon.
It's Oregon. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Did any of them? Have you ever heard any trials about these people?
Nope.
Okay, so let me address this psyop comment that you put up a few seconds ago, Charles. Look, man, I'm tired of these people. Whenever you back them into a corner, it's always a government psyop. I'm black, and I was born and raised in America, so I ain't gonna say nothing is a government psyop. But goddamn, boy, y'all got y'all tinfoil hats on super tight because everything is a government psyop for y'all.
Yeah, for Grandmaster Jay, that's not a government psyop, but for you it is. Really?
Thank you.
Does that make sense to you?
But
So basically, where you live, man? Because wherever you smoking, I want to go smoke some too, man. Because I'm not going to the place to die.
And that shit he's smoking, we need to call that shit crucial conflict.
If you can tap dance and backpedal with that kind of bullshit, man, go ask Thomas So what do you think about that Feds that was government psyop? Go ask him about that.
As a matter of fact, Zach, have you ever worked for the government?
Zach, get your ass up here.
No, man. I never worked for the government, but you know how it is.
But this motherfucker knows more about a psyop than me or DC.
Man, I could never pass the P test, so I can't work for the government.
People know more about the psyop than Professor X.
Well, y'all know that Zach Wilde is the guitarist for Ozzy Osbourne, so he definitely know what he's talking about, right?
Yeah. Man, but the shrooms are better than that, man, because I did see the face of God.
BGS really did grow up with them because he does a fucking great hippie voice. BGS fucking
Man, I got to head out to the half tube, man. I got to do a double backflip before I go to bed. Got to keep the fucking skills up, man.
This is BGS is funny right now.
You might have to press the babe, man.
You breaking up a little bit, Charles. You sound like you.
BGS, can you impression Tommy Chong by chance?
Impress who?
As I was saying,
Tommy
Chong.
I never tried impressing.
Tommy Chong.
We used to. I can't do them right. I haven't done
maybe probably prefer to do Cheech.
We used to do Cheech and Chung all the time. Well, Cheech is easy. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh man, I saw this chica, man, down the street with the fat ass, man.
Man, but at the end of the day, it's a lack of belief. This is not a drug thing. This is just people that when you back them into a corner on facts and reality and what's historical context and everything, they always go off the side road. And the side road is always, you don't know. I mean, like government psyop and like, what about the government and the government?
No, but I mean, they don't understand when you make the argument for culture. When you make the argument for culture, you're making the argument for racism. So when you talk about culture, you're talking about being raised. You're talking about passing down beliefs. It's a pattern of behavior that fits a group of people for a significant amount of time. So if you're talking about how somebody was raised, then you go, so why are their parents like that? Okay, so why are their parents like that? Okay, so why were they basically excluded out of the experiment? Oh, okay, so this goes back to that. So that's the problem.
I think I need to double down on that too, because we have to also look at it as a coping mechanism. It is.
All right, Charles. I got jumped down. Someone just went somewhere live. I'll talk to you, Charles. All right.
All right.
Hey, Chaos.
He's gone.
Provide balance, brother. He gone.
Provide balance.
Yeah, he needs to provide balance. Him and the Miri over there, that channel over there, man. That's
man, I can't even mention his name without getting a freaking headache, man.
It's all good.
I can't even listen to the dude talk. It's just like I need to change the channel.
I believe patriarchy is fatherhood.
And I'm the one that likes 90s R&B.
I'm gonna tell you something. I'm glad I did.
Isn't chaos basically a purveyor of the space? He's over here all the time. He's part of the manosphere. I mean, he's everybody. He's always part of everybody's spaces and things of that nature. So a person that you co-host your program with is part of the so-called Black manosphere, man. Stop it, bro. Like, so it doesn't make any sense and all this stuff.
See, here's the part of it, man.
But y'all gonna get this what?
Here's the part of it, man. I'm gonna start talking to niggas
you get a headache because you gonna get this what?
BGS, come on, man.
I mean, y'all think y'all so smart, but I'm the Black manosphere gonna get this what, man? Because y'all think patriarchy is nothing but fatherhood, man.
How did you get him down, man? How did you get him?
I just have one question. What the fuck is in your cup, BGS?
Oh man, the Mary man.
It's Folgers in my cup.
You gotta eat that one.
Officer Charles. You don't want to come over here, Officer Charles, because I got books over here, man. I got work is there for you too. Okay.
Oh boy.
I mean, the cat in the hat does what some people say.
Charles, let me do your favorite. Alexa, could you play the Bojangles music in the background while BGS is talking, please?
Officer Charles, I hear green eggs and ham with Sam.
Yeah, you can tell you got some Louisiana dialect to you, man.
Bruh, it's killing me right now. This shit is killing me.
I'm having you eat with Tony. I'm having you eat green eggs and ham with Tony. With Tony,
oh,
you hear
man,
me?
I thought my son.
Hey, we going down to the third wall. We going down to the third wall, and we going to talk about
Alexa, please play the banjo music in the background of BGS, please.
Patriarchy. We're gonna talk about the Black manosphere.
Let's give him a break, BGS. Let's give him a break, man. Yeah, man.
Don't trust them, no niggas.
And your master teacher.
Don't you trust them, niggas over there.
All right, I'm done.
Thank you,
folks. Scary. Y'all may actually be related, BGS.
There we go.
I'm probably scary, man. Yeah, I'll probably be closer to Jason Black because he's from the same area that my folks are from.
Yeah, Louisiana's not that big of a state though, man. They move around out there.
Y'all niggas ought to donate just for those. Y'all niggas ought to donate just for them impersonations of BGS.
That was crazy.
Or you gonna get a master teacher of BGS?
In other words, it's Godfrey, Freeze Love, Aries Spears, and BGS. Those are the voice impersonators in the Black community.
Charles, you know, Black men don't donate to channels. Come on, now.
Black men don't take care of their kids either.
They don't take care of the kids. Oh well, Negroes don't take these niggas.
Wait, Charles, who was the first person to donate to your channel?
Who was the first person? God damn, was it you?
Motherfucker, if you don't fucking say the right person, goddamn, don't make me take a flight to Baltimore and lose a fight.
Lose a fight. That's funny. That's funny. Oh, I take a lot of pride to go somewhere and know you're gonna lose.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh my god!
Hey, how'd it go, Z? You see this black eye, right? But I'm staying though.
Just couldn't let it stand. I got ahead and take this ass whipping.
You know
that's just as funny as this one guy. There was this white guy pulled over right years ago, and he was like. He was funny as shit, but he was real cool. He was like, man, I know I was speeding, but I thought I could get out the car. And I was like, you know what? I probably could whoop this cop's ass.
Yep.
But he said, but then I had a flat before my eyes after I seen this big guy come up there and put his foot up my ass and walk me around like a bedroom shoe. And
he had a vision, huh?
He said he had a vision.
That shit's hysterical.
like the data.
Walk me around like a bedroom shoe.
And I would say, Officer Panthro, I didn't know that was you in that car.
That reminds me of that white dude that was talking all that shit. Then that big old black dude got out of the car. He's like,
oh yeah, and ran back.
He's like, oh shit.
I said, Officer Panthro, I presume.
You know, sometimes you gotta go. Sometimes you gotta do this. God.
Tonight on When Keeping It Real Goes Wrong.
A good old Molly Wop, huh?
Yeah, man.
I love the series.
He stole black, he purple.
What you say?
They say he stole black, he purple. That's what they used to say back in the day.
Oh yeah, they sure did. He so black, he purple.
You know,
Tonight on Thug Life.
He's so black, he blue.
You know,
You
show up to a fight like
you want them blue black Negroes.
It's funny. They said, like my homeboy said, he said, if I ever get in trouble, and they said, I know, nigga, this how you showed up to the fight.
Yeah, you just knew Panthro was black, man. That's just they just
God rest the soul.
You already knew that.
Earl Hyman, boy.
They played the jazz when he came on. You already knew.
Oh yeah.
We gotta do it. Come on, DC. We gotta do it right. We gonna do it right.
Oh.
Even though I was thinking I was crazy. I was like, does that motherfucker got a jazzy ass theme song? But I was
absolutely. Absolutely.
Tonight on Why Did Dragon Ball Z Not Make Piccolo black instead of green?
Yeah, we're the Namek hoes.
See what I'm saying?
Yep. Panthro. You already know.
Remix.
So,
is it just me, or does it sound like we about to ride on these niggas?
Yep.
Like that's the point where you could have talked it out, and he said, "No."
Tonight on Boys in the Hood.
Let's go.
When racism is lifted and overturned, looking ass.
Oh my god. Oh my
that
god.
bass line was killer too, boy.
Yeah, it was like. It's funny because if you actually meet me in real life, you know, when people actually meet me and they hear my phone go off, that's my ringtone.
Oh yeah, yeah. Remember all the little kids, man. When I was when I was an adult, man, all the little kids and parents come in with the Thundercats, ho!
Yeah, that was we used to make fun of
now what a lot of people do is their text message beep is the Power Rangers beep.
Now let you beat yes when you got Kim Possible.
Oh yeah. That's the only thing I liked about the whole series is the communicator sound. I said, oh shit, that's cool.
Oh man, don't talk to my father, man. I can't let BGS talk to my father because he's gonna tell all the embarrassing stories when we used to have toy stores like
KB Toys and Toys R Us.
He said I couldn't take your black ass around a toy and not leave. He said, I knew you were going to be big and strong because, man, your mother had you by a leg. A piece of couldn't pull you out that motherfucker.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That sounds like my youngest grandson. Will not let it go.
Tonight on What Happened to the Brick and Mortar Stores, Amazon edition.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
That's true. Tonight on New Edition. Whatever happened to racism? This doesn't have the same ring to it as you used to.
Hey, not unsung stories. What happened to the brick and mortars?
Zach done calm down, huh? Okay.
Walmart. That's what happened.
I guess the PCP must have took effect.
oh man, we don't smoke PC. Man, that's too outdated, man. We got some meth, maybe, man. Some
straight up fentanyl.
No, man. Oh, man, fentanyl, man. We gotta be easy with that. They have to have the right dealer for fentanyl, man. Can't be ODing in front of the girls and shit, man. So it is what it is.
Pookie, the brick and mortars got the AR-15 pointed to them by Walmart, and then they got the AK-47 pointed to them by Amazon.
Hey man, how the fuck is it?
Hey,
like I don't get it, man. But you want to talk about racism?
Amazon dropped a couple bombs on them.
When you had the LA riots, man, how come the Korean store owners were hailed as heroes, pointing rifles at people, man, over property, man? That was insured, man.
You know what, man? What the people don't realize about what you don't understand about the Koreans, man. They were actually burning down their own store.
Yeah,
that part.
They'll burn down their whole store, man.
Hey, don't y'all like when somebody puts the thumb on the scale and then tell you why you can't do as good as the person they have the thumb on the scale for?
You know what? I actually experienced that today. I was in court. Well, yesterday. I was in court. And my ex-wife's lawyer was talking about white privilege. This is a white guy now. He was talking about white privilege and the fact that the courtroom was cold. And I'm sitting there listening to this bullshit. I'm sitting back like, man, she drinking this shit up. End of the day, her claim got dismissed. I'm like, if you got this motherfucker for a lawyer, you through. So the news on that is I got my son. Now I need to get my daughter.
Hey, congratulations, man.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
Hold up. We gotta salute this nigga getting his son
slow
back.
clap.
Hold on.
Woo!
Ooh, that's a nice ass. But
Every time I see your black ass, it reminds me of how I got 3 kids, man. I don't even like looking at her.
Yeah.
That brings back memories of why I got 3 kids.
Tonight on the booty will make you do crazy things.
My ex was a couple of stops darker than she is.
Yeah, she done made plenty of men do a whole lot of things they shouldn't be doing, man.
It's like me and BGS got the same taste and skin tone.
Tonight on she's even better than Keisha off a belly. And ain't nobody was better than Keisha off a belly. Ain't nobody.
You sure about that?
Hold on, wait a minute, Jensen. I gotta hear this again. Your vote. I'm assuming your ex-wife is black, right?
Yes, she is.
And he came in there talking about white privilege.
The judge was in recess and he was in there talking loud about white privilege. Let me tell y'all something about these courtrooms.
As a
Even
white
when
guy?
they in there, they still recording this shit.
Oh yeah.
And so he was in there talking about white privilege and all this. And my judge she was a Latina woman.
Ooh.
Ooh. Okay.
Spicy.
Yep.
Latina.
And so she came back out and she started, going through her spiel. And then I was in there in a pro se capacity too, because I was like, you know what? I don't trust you fuckers. I went through 2 lawyers and y'all kept on losing. And when she found out that they were playing games with service, she just took all their shit and she just read them the riot act.
Ooh, okay.
And I said, okay, good.
I'll take it.
Oh yeah.
Wait, you talking about the Latino judge shredded the suspected?
Yes, two white lawyers and a black litigant who was my ex-wife, and she shredded all 3 of them.
Wow.
Tonight on you chose the 2 wrong white people.
Yeah.
And that white woman was so mad, so beat red that she didn't even want to talk to me. But I spoke to the male lawyer on the way out. He was cool, but that white woman, she was like,
anybody know what a tomato look like?
Why was she mad at you?
She was mad at me because as long as I had my ex-lawyer, she was winning.
Okay.
And this is something I just learned today, that judges look at pro se litigants differently than they look at lawyers.
They give you a handicap.
They give you a handicap, and it's a big handicap too. But the thing that really got me over the edge was that, number one, we spent an hour and a half with them arguing service. So we didn't even get shit done for an hour and a half. So once it became time to litigate, she liked the fact that I was straight to the point. My arguments were succinct, and that was that. I had a little bit of case law because I did engage in some stare decisis, but that was it. But for them, it was just like the woman had such word salad, I couldn't even keep up with her. And I just sat there and said, look, you got to slow that down because I can only take this issue one thing at a time. in which the judge sat back and she was like, "You need to remember that you're not dealing with another lawyer."
Okay.
Yep. So hats off. I actually had on a lead attorney navy blue suit.
Yes. Hey, I got one thing to say, my nigga.
Yes, sir.
What Dad said didn't tell y'all is that the judge was Sotomayor.
Truth be told, she looked like him. Oh, and I got one for you military guys too. I took and I added a little accent to it, and that was, Charles knows about this, conjunctis stamus. Yes, sir. I had that little gold pendant on my lapel, and motherfuckers recognized it. Yes, sir.
I'll be like this. What did the other lawyers start with their fucking opening statement? Evil is good. When you get the ass is good. Now when you get some evil ass, whoa. God damn.
I can see Dead say that. I want the truth.
They like, nigga, you can't handle the truth.
One good man. Part 3 billion.
What are you eating, Negro?
Shrimp scabby, my bad.
Yeah, I know. Go to mouthful.
Nigga,
so you know his headphones is all wet right now.
Yeah, just like your moist ass mic.
Got to chime in. Can't help yourself. Got to chime in with a mouthful of food.
Thank you.
Mr. Z always choking that mic. Sounding like he got a mic in his mouth right now.
All right.
Leave it to Cali, nigga. Rainbow State to be making rainbow jokes.
Anyway,
it just was
BGS got caught in the crossfire, but go ahead.
You got to finish the story. Now, it don't matter to me because West Hollywood is the biggest gay town in the country. So
Yes.
it is.
Yeah.
They have their own city.
Damn.
Yeah, they do. West Hollywood is the only officially gay city in the United States.
God damn.
That's crazy.
I don't think you mean happy either.
No, I don't. Or should I use gender fluid?
Gender fluid.
No, LGBTQ.
I mean, shit.
I like Art's term, legibit.
Last weekend, I mean, the fucking genders were so fluid, it almost ran through a faucet. God damn.
It probably did. It's almost air. It's so fluid. Go finish your story, Dead Set.
Well, here's one of the other things that I'm learning. Because we talked about, the Kerner Commission, Moynihan Report, and things like that. Judges are actually concerned about social impact. And all of these judges here in Baltimore, they don't live in the city. They drive into it, but they get as annoyed as everybody else about the squeegee boys and all this other shit that takes place here.
Okay.
So once I started talking about cultural impact of single motherhood, which I just touched on just a little bit, it was almost as though her ears perked up. So when they're discussing legal remedies, they are trying to, and I don't want to give the judges too many flowers, but when they are discussing legal remedies, they're talking about cultural impact.
Okay.
Because they also understand that there's a substantial financial impact attached to it.
Wait a minute. I keep forgetting that you live in Baltimore. God damn, you're the most successful black man in a court system ever in Baltimore.
Bro, it came. It was hard.
It was painful. Yeah.
Baltimore City is probably the most corrupt, and I've been through 3 court systems. It's probably the most corrupt one that I've ever been.
Wait a minute. I gotta correct you on some felonious shit you just said. What do you mean, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
And man, that the fucking court system in Baltimore City is so fucked up. You got the fucking judges outside saying we'll prosecute for a fucking dollar. God.
Oh man, damn.
Like them motherfuckers, like the fucking the governor, the ex-governor's fucking wife. You want to talk about a motherfucking court? even though I did have a court hearing against an ex, and I will say this about the governor's wife. She did rip my ex-girlfriend a new asshole. Thank you for that.
Sir.
Because when you come in there with a military uniform and you're regularly handsome like myself, things do kind of go your way. insert bashing eyes now.
Even the judges of 304s out here.
Damn. Okay. Ooh.
The shit. The state's. You know who the state's attorney is?
What movie was that with
About Busby? Oh, she can get it though. I ain't gonna lie, she can get it.
I mean, a 3'3". She's so much of a 304. We call her a 608.
Yes. But yeah, I got a few more. I got a custody hearing coming up.
Okay.
Another thing is for the child abuse charge.
Mm-hmm.
The magistrate made his ruling, and his ruling was so far off basis. Now, this is a black magistrate now.
Okay.
His brother. Number one, he ran into double jeopardy. So they were trying to get me on a charge that had already been acquitted by an Article 3 judge.
Okay.
And the second thing was that it was clear that my daughter was coached because the district attorney won't prosecute because they said that there's nothing here. The police won't do anything because they got one of the detectives. He's like, there ain't nothing here. There ain't nothing to investigate. We investigated this already.
Mm-hmm.
And so what this dude did was my ex-wife found a gullible social worker in Washington, D.C., who, of course, because of jurisdiction, wrote a report to Baltimore City. And then they came back and they were saying, well, we think he did it. And so when I read the report that the judge wrote, it is so far off and so incoherent, the things that my daughter was saying, that it is impossible because the child wasn't even in the state.
Mm.
And I said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and file a petition and just bury this shit. But at the same time, I gave the report, since my ex-wife's team wasn't part of that investigation, I handed the report over to their lawyers just so that I can execute my Yu-Gi-Oh! Trap card. Because they're going to take it, they're going to run with it. They're going to say, well, look, they're saying he did it.
Nobody heard the geek reference he just threw out, but go ahead.
Yeah, they're saying that he did this shit. And I'm sitting back like, yeah.
I heard the Yu-Gi-Oh! Reference.
And I'm sitting back like, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and argue this point. I dare you. But that's exactly what they're going to do.
Crazy.
And shout out to Lionel Player. Hold on. Shout out to Lionel Player One for the $10. The theme of Panther, the music that plays when a person is talking, it says "fuck negotiations," but we can't fight and say let's go to the one that wanted to avoid this today. Oh yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh man. But go ahead, Pookie.
No political structure, no limited political representation, a predatory judicial system where it's hyper targeted due to the environment you live in, but the environment is controlled by the society and it's strategically being made that way because the U.S. refuses to divert some of their war budget into developing more of their infrastructure to balance the society. For various reasons, even though these points have been belabored and there's countless examples and accounts from history going back hundreds of years to decades to all the way up until even 5-6 years ago, there's still accounts of the various racially influenced events occurring. But it appears that the world is just silenced. I'm not reading. I'm just talking. I've been thinking for a while, so I'm just spitting my interest, spill, but it just appears that despite all this, there's still some kind of delay for some kind of world action beyond, I say, China with their social system, and in the U.S. Just domestically.
I'm trying to figure out where you're at on all of that.
It's. I mean, it's just. I mean, it's. I mean, I'm just. It's nowhere I'm particularly at. It's just is what it is. It's like this. But for me, it's just. I don't know. It's kind of. It's deeply disheartening and like a part of me, but another part doesn't necessarily care about it because
you don't have kids.
Due to my position. Exactly. Well, yeah, I don't have kids. And I'm detached from physically, and I'm kind of detached.
You can't know until you have kids.
Yep. Yep.
So we appreciate your candor on it, but you can't know until you have kids.
I'm gonna put a whole different story. Everything changes when that baby comes out that womb,
and you pick up the baby for the first time. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Like, damn.
And you put up with a whole bunch of bullshit for that kid. I no idea.
Oh shit! I want to tell you, like, God dang.
That chick throwing that food on the ground, I'd have burned rubber so fast. She didn't say, just check. Just here's your check. Here's your check. I don't want to see you again.
Yep. Man, I remember like.
Hey, if I'm single, boy, I'm dragging that heifer.
We can have. If we have 10 kids together, she do some shit like that, it's gonna be 5 years before you see me again.
I swear to God, man, that shit brought back bad memories. I tell you what, I keep, when she said I'm gonna expose you, I keep saying, yo, you know what I told Sharon BGS? I said, when are black women gonna bring a better product?
Yeah, even the black women are digging in her behind. That's the funny thing.
I'm like the single mom be digging her behind because she's fucking up.
Yeah, she fucking up game.
She's fucking up there. I'm talking
messing
about
up the church's money.
Yeah. I ain't heard that in a while. Yeah, she sure is.
I'm gonna say the same thing I said on Valdez's channel. Any bitch that got 4 kids by 4 different men, you are automatically a fucking emergency petition, and you need to be in psychiatric care. You are batshit crazy. You're crazy than a bag of fucking ferrets. May the power of Christ to safety. Man, get the fuck away from me. I swear to God. How?
If you have,
I don't know why. I don't know why you filming. You doing some dumbass shit like that. That doesn't make sense.
What's the most addictive drug to women? BGS.
Oh, attention.
Attention.
The need to be right.
You talking about the ashes? You talking about the ashes?
The need to be right is just it's just a coping mechanism.
Yeah, but they're addicted to that attention, boy.
Yeah, attention is food.
What you gonna say, Z?
Oh no, if you have 4 kids, thank you, AB. If you have 4 kids from 4 different dudes, how many dudes did you probably pipe?
Is that how many she has? She has 4 children. Or
she got 4 kids.
Damn,
you're talking about the McDonald's lady, right?
I don't know how many fathers she has, but she had 4.
Oh, 4 kids. Oh, okay, yeah, but
and that particular man had the youngest child.
4 kids by 4.
Oh, bro, come on, man.
I mean, you don't even have sloppy seconds. You're like sloppy fourths.
Bro.
Damn.
No, I can't do it.
So that means that he brought some food over there before, probably recently, and then all the kids started to cry because one had a Happy Meal and the others didn't, and they noticed that.
Yeah, I would say this, man. If the way I was raised, I would never be that mean or that petty. Okay, if I'm going to bring one for one, I'm going to bring one for all. That point, I agree with, but that's on him. But for her, they should have had before she actually filmed him and embarrassed him like that. They should have a very large discussion. Okay, because you think it's because women in their heads when they get emotional like that, they think it's cool. They think it's slick. I'm gonna show him up. I'm gonna tell him
right.
I'm in the right, and right after you do this next week, we'll be back talking again. Right? He will never forget that, especially when it's broadcast all over social media.
He was pissed.
He's not gonna forgive you. Yeah.
Nah.
I'm gonna excuse
But
me
then
for
the thing
saying
about it,
another
most
word.
likely the child is not going to forgive them either. That they
No.
interact with their father that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. But
Excuse
it
me.
go ahead, Charles. I'm sorry.
I gotta address this.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't get indigenous. Get the fuck off my channel.
Boom.
Get the fuck off my channel. I'm not even gonna waste the time to say anything else. I'm not even gonna tell you to come to the panel. Get the fuck off my channel. Matter of fact, there's a reason why I got moderators. Get them the fuck off my channel. Because for a whole 2 hours, when we talked about racism, and I didn't even allow motherfuckers to talk about black women, shut the fuck up. Get the fuck off my channel. Now, back to you.
She's gone. Yeah, she's gone.
What did anybody say about black women? I mean, what the hell is going on, man?
Yeah, is she even black? Hold on. Was she even? Was
No,
she even black?
She not black. Gone.
Who are these people?
Who cares?
Yeah, there was.
She's a person of color.
Justice.
Hold on a second. It's a bot account. It's a fake account. It's a fake account, just like the Zach Wild account. It's a fake one.
Oh, okay.
I just checked them out and noticed that they don't have any content up there.
Okay.
Yeah, well, your troll account, but even though this is a troll account, you will see you will see excuse my background bike. You will see other women of color kind of pulling these stunts because what they do it for like brownie points with black girls in their circle or whatever. So they will make comments like, "Oh, y'all are those type of black men," or I get what black women are saying. And like that, some of those people are real. Not all of them are troll accounts. I've run into a couple.
She actually had another video she actually put up after that with her weave on and her makeup on, talking about why about all the women going in on her because women ain't having it, man. Every woman I've seen has
you
not
messing up
agreed
the
with her.
church's money. You don't do that.
Yeah.
It's already turning against them. I mean, the game is being basically broadcasted everywhere. Everybody knows the duplicity of everything now. So you're ruining it for the ones that do have a semi-decent relationship with the co-parent. I mean,
and guess what happened? The Supreme Court took your get out of jail free card. So now,
now all we need is a good
I'm not
Ryan
surprised
plan.
that black women are going after that chick because she's clearly fucking the game.
No, I'm not. I am not surprised by that at all. Like anybody with any kind of sense, you want to kind of like keep things hidden, so you can keep a status quo. When you make people aware, then they make better decisions. Even for the ones that are not as informed, they don't even know that they're making better decisions because, this guy, I don't think he's over 30, right? I don't think either one of them.
He didn't look like it. Yeah,
neither one of them are. So that means that she's a young mother with multiple children, multiple fathers.
These are fucking
highly emotional. They're not in serious relationships. They don't understand what it is to be probably in a serious relationship or to be parents. And it's just it's a messed up situation all the way around. So when you get an immature person like that, and you get a man that's basically he probably wasn't raised. I don't know what his situation is, but if I'm just looking at the video, probably wasn't really raised or had the kind of real example about what fatherhood is and things of that nature, because he probably would have chose better. But dealing with a woman that way and getting her pregnant, he probably beating himself up like, damn, man, my baby mama, she's a beast, you know what I'm saying? And going over there and then she pulling that kind of stunt.
Oh yeah, he got her pregnant, she had a kid, he's trying to make the best out of it, and he can't deal with her crazy behind, so he bounces.
And
but
the thing is, if she asked him,
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say if she probably asked him and just kept it funky, hey, look, how about you bring something for the other children? It don't have to be much, but at least allow them to share, some kind of value meal deal. I mean, and just do it that way instead of just having them, you setting them up to get played or hey, watch what he do when he bring the meal, because she knew what it was. Because that's not the first time he's done that. So now you're playing games. Now you're trying to play games. Come on.
Well, she did that to embarrass him in front of the sisterhood. That's I'm gonna show you, and this is their form. This is their form of air quotes discipline, right?
Yeah.
So this was which she didn't expect it to backfire, and she actually expected way more black women to be on her side on the issue than actually what happened. And so now she's going on the explain tour to be like, well, he knew what it was, and I loved it when she said he knew what it was. We have the youngest kid together, so he knew. In other words, he knew I ain't shit from the jump, and he decided to get me pregnant anyway, and I'm gonna run his ass through this shit.
You know,
I mean that's a bad situation, but those are facts, though. Those are the hard facts.
But she never said about the other 3 fathers or the other 2 fathers. Never talked about them.
But that's how the culture, what they saw though, especially the greater culture, they saw what Ronald Reagan called a welfare queen and a big butt.
Hey, and can I speak on that too?
And that just real quick, and that even goes towards the whole discussion that we was having earlier about that. And see, that still, even when you go in depth into what that action is, that still goes back to what happened on the plantation, after the plantation, and back to what basically was put forth all the way since then. The reason why you're so mad at these so-called baby mamas is because they're incentivized. Who they're incentivized by?
How many times I've said that, DC?
Exactly.
God damn it. Nobody ever wants to.
Ronald Reagan put them on the tit, man. He did in the 80s.
Yep.
In the 80s, man, and he knew what that would do to the culture. Thomas Sowell knew too. But see, Thomas Sowell, he looks at it as just being part of the culture and making a bad decision. Yeah, that's part of it too. That's true. There's some justification in that, but that still doesn't obfuscate the system and the environment. If you put an environment in place where they're going to be detrimental decisions and people are going to make those kind of limited choices, that's what you're going to get.
And Moynihan, what the thing is, Moynihan said it. What had done it 20 years, said it 20 years earlier. They knew.
Yeah, we could do this. We could do this all day, fellas. Like, and the biggest question that you ask our brother X, and shout out to brother X, man. I got love for that brother too.
Oh,
man.
yeah,
I got deep love for brother X. But the thing is that what do you think is the number one issue for us? And I guarantee you, we could tie it back. That's the frustration. Hell, I wish we couldn't tie it back. I wish everything was so-called even Steven, but it's not. It's not.
He
These
admitted
are just
it was.
the facts. Yeah, he knows where we're coming from. He just don't want that to be an excuse for these so-called damaged Negroes. But the thing is that these damaged Negroes are going to act this way as long as the environment persists. It's everybody's problem. Everybody got to correct it. If we're so-called Americans, because if we're so-called Americans, because if you eliminate race out of this thing, then that means white people are going to be just as invested as black people are as far as solving this problem.
You're gonna have if you don't clean up the environment, you're gonna have vermin. But
and that goes back to the Moynihan. Let me just say this really quick because I'm about to bounce. That goes back to the Moynihan report, because what he stated, I'm giving these solutions for the so-called white community, because if we allow this to happen after the advent of slavery, suppressing the so-called masculinity, not allowing these people to be totally free, to basically become part of Americans. We're creating two Americas. That's what that's where that whole thing came from. People need to read the Moynihan report. That's the thing. Just read it and get an understanding of what he was basically saying. You can disagree with some of the diagnosis that he made. We can have that conversation. But when you're just coming out, you're just talking about the person in the home and all that, like, dude, it's so much more in there than just that. If you talk about the psychological point about basically putting the woman first, not giving the men jobs, knowing that there was a psychological effect, knowing that it was being studied, knowing that this is purposely done. He worked for the Department of Labor. Okay. When he worked for the Department of Labor, they told him, hey, look into the Negro problem. See if we can actually fix this thing. Okay, this is what happened. These are the ballistics. Here's what we can do to kind of fix it. Are we willing to do it? No, that's too big of an ass. We're not willing to do that. These people will basically hang us. We'll have another civil war on our hands. That's basically the decision. It's the same thing that happened during Reconstruction and then the Atlantic Compromise. These things go all the way back, but we have to be honest, man. And anytime these brothers want to talk to me about it, man, I'm DC, the code breaker, man. I will code break you for fun. I don't like doing this, man, but it's sometimes my occupation. Man, I'll catch you guys later.
Don't hurt
me. Let me get out to the other end, man. Chewy, warm up those engines, man. Warm up those engines. Let me get out to the other end. My brother Charles, my DC brethren, I appreciate you for letting me up.
Watch out for
your power's a weak old man.
but I have the high ground.
Oh yeah, remember Remember,
do as I must, huh?
Remember, stay away from the Wookiee hoes.
Yeah, man. So yeah, them
Oh,
they
nah.
hairy, man. They hairy,
Yeah,
but
they-
they so much fun.
Yeah,
Man,
boy.
I holler at you fellas, man, and back to the rim I go, man. I'm gone.
All right, DC. All
All
right,
right, bro.
Peace.
all right.
You know all the Wookiees are Pookies, right?
By the way, Charles,
Hold on,
excuse me,
be,
Charles,
hold on, be easy.
like you say,
Yeah, I just shout out to the panel. Yes, a lot of stuff been said, so I don't want to. But since y'all was speaking about that, the particular infamous video, the lady, I did cover it. The lady said, "Everybody said you a good father. I'm about to expose you." So the dude was already regarded as a good father. She wanted to change the narrative and quote unquote expose him to whatever stereotypical trope that he's just some deadbeat. Could he have handled it differently? I'm with BGS on there. I personally, wouldn't have handled it like that, but I can't police his behavior as a father. He didn't have any obligation. And also to unfortunately, even though there's more white people on welfare, Ronald Reagan, with the dog whistles, was able to masterfully paint, black women as the welfare queen. And in that video, she was saying, I don't get my food stamps until this date. She got 4 kids. During that PPP loan, they was passing out thousands of dollars worth of food stamps. She got multiple kids. Where's your food stamps?
You know how
Food
much
should not be an issue.
Do you know how much I was getting for my son during COVID? For one child. Because they gave it to anybody's kid who went to a public school. You got 4 times what the fuck. They gave me about what, 230? And she's got 4 times that. Get the see. I wanted to reach in that camera and whoop her natural black ass. There is no fucking, like I said it on Angry Man shit. I said, notice not one bit said they need CPS at that house. Not one time. If I was that dude, I would show that video. That one, she's getting food stamps, and most likely, if she's getting food stamps, she's getting child support. 2, she's not capable of feeding those children. 3, you most likely have child support for each or at least 2 of those kids. Where's the food? You probably were selling your goddamn stamps. Because
Exactly.
if you're around the black community, bitches sell their stamps like a goddamn dice game.
And I don't know what the exchange rate is where y'all at out in California. If I give you $100, you got to give me $200 worth of food stamps. That's the exchange rate out here.
That's the black exchange rate everywhere in America.
Okay, I just want to make sure that was the universal standard.
Oh, that's the universal standard of food stamps with black people since goddamn 1980.
2 for 1 still.
Oh, you talking about when it was the paper ones and people used to be embarrassed to pull them out, but now people be swiping that EBT card like it's a black card.
Man, shit, they used to play with that shit. You know what the most ghetto shit I ever seen was an Uno game, and they were betting the fucking food stamps. God damn.
Hey, hold on, Charles. How much you win? How much you win?
I ain't gonna talk about that. $300. But anyway. Shit. We ain't good at that ball. But anyway, it's funny because it's like our brother DC said. You cannot, as a black person in America, every iniquity that's been thrust upon us, willfully or unwillingly, is simply racism. Is somewhere is gonna be the fucking core of the value. Well, racism never affected me. Then why the fuck you move away from black people? Well, who was that? Who's the one who has the Asian wife?
Supreme King Cool.
Yeah, and I remember when I told him, I said, "How is that when your son drives? How is he going to be treated? Is he going to be treated like he's white, Asian, or are they going to treat him black? And he didn't want to say it, but he was like, yeah, they're going to treat him black. So when your son goes out there in the world, how's he going to be treated? See, people don't understand that preconceived notions are stronger today than even back then. Because back then, at least you knew where the fucking races were because they tell you to your face. Now you got to go to a job, a financial institution, and they say, oh, I'm sorry, we can't give you this business loan. But they give fucking Cheddar Bob in his overalls. All he has to do is take one of his baths per week and put on something other than overhauls, and this motherfucker gets $500,000 for a fucking business start.
I'm playing backstabbers when I walk into the bank.
Mm-hmm. Backstabbers. And guess what? For the longest time, when they said we don't want these niggas to come to these schools, and they said, and we can't put the word niggas up here, we can't discriminate against race. So somebody had the brilliant idea to come out with the SATs.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you want that nice house in the hills? Let's see your credit score. See, a lot of y'all niggas don't understand. When I got hired for the police department, they didn't check your credit score, but now they do.
Now they do, yeah.
It's pretty much across all industries now.
Exactly. Yeah. That should shock the fuck. They check your credit score, my nigga, and it's funny.
And you got to have a valid driver's license too. No suspended. Nothing. No, even if you got parking tickets on some jobs.
Well, I mean, as a police officer, I hope you do have a valid license. How you gonna be giving motherfuckers tickets and your shit suspended?
That's a sovereign citizen who's also a police officer. That makes sense.
Like, I don't recognize these tickets. But it really pisses me off because, the coon money must be real good instead of telling the truth. That's why when I went to Brandon Tatum's panel, he highlighted, I think he knows who I am. But he'll never let me come up on that panel. Like, no. Well, the first thing he's going to be like, well, you were a police officer in Baltimore. How was it? And he's expecting me to say some real raunchy shit. Well, I'm going to tell you the truth. It was the best time of my fucking life. And when you go to those black cookouts and they cooking out them goddamn ribs. But still, I'll say this about Amazing Lucas, even though he's still
Frankie Beverly.
Huh?
Of course, they're playing some You insisted that he's playing some Frankie Beverly.
Oh, yes, they were. Frankie Beverly is the official. Frankie Beverly and all his songs are the official songs of the Negro Cookout Week. But anyway, you gotta realize a lot of these guys who were cooing, they really look idiotic because one, what happens when the dollars run out? What happens when something is so heinous you have to say something about it? Brandon Tatum has said nothing about them 31 white supremacists in what's that state?
Idaho.
Idaho. He didn't say shit about that. I did.
And there were multiple law enforcement too. It was like double. At least 10 of them were like former law enforcement, high-ranking officials. Also,
yeah, he never said one blessed word, but yet he was talking about Amir Arbery and thinking he was guilty. Well, I think it was justified shoot. See, I swear to God, y'all do know the rule of war. If you betray your fucking unit, what do you think the enemy's gonna look at you, nigga? We can't trust this nigga. You betrayed your people.
Yep.
And seriously,
they put you in the firing squad.
Don't talk about the divestors like that. Oops, did I say that out loud?
I mean,
and he also has a son. How is he raising his son?
Very cooningly. And you got to think about this,
you think
man.
that shit in Idaho is bad?
About this, for every divestor, I want to point them to Washington State with the guy who was a lineman from the fucking Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
They don't bring that shit up, do they? But he knew he could get away with that because of his race.
Oh yeah, and he did. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Remember the lineman that tried to kill his black girlfriend?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I did a video on that. Yeah, he messed her up.
You talking about Chad Willard? Ain't nobody forgot about the homie. Yeah, there you go.
And he actually said it from the top. I thought I killed her.
Yep, sure did.
Well, you know that Negro resilience.
Whatever happened to him? Did they ever charge him?
Oh, they got a thick neck. Yeah, they charged him.
Now is he convicted? That's the other thing.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
Oh, they charge white person. White person. You ever notice why white people go to court smiling?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
white
shit.
privilege. Yeah.
I mean that. Man, I wish for my birthday somebody donate a gift of white privilege just for 1 week of white privilege.
A week? Yeah, that's a lot, man. A whole week? I don't know if we can do that.
A whole week of white privilege, man. I'll be like, well, goddamn. You know, the police wave at you and don't pull you over. You know, your credit score is like over 700.
Well, Charles, you can always have my vitiligo if you want. Maybe that might help.
I ain't trying to be no goddamn zebra. So, shit. I like my dark skin. You know what they say about dark skin. It gives us a complimentary 3 inches. But anyway,
hey, speaking of white privilege, this is the perfect white privilege and racism because somehow Clarence Thomas is the face for the Roe v. Wade. They got, but even some black people talking about he should get assassinated when they've been planning on overturning this since before some people been alive. But somehow it's Clarence Thomas' fault. Is that a coincidence?
Them thinking about overturning it didn't start till maybe about 6 years ago.
Yeah.
We talked about.
They were on board with Roe v. Wade.
I find it interesting that
we talked about
commentators. Yeah. Even liberal commentators came out like, "What's that nigger think he's doing?" I was like, "Oh wow."
Exactly. But the thing is, he's taking the bullets for him.
And I'm glad he is too.
Yeah.
Because he's putting a face on a lot of black men's positions anyway. I mean, what's it look like?
Zach is back, man. Oh, you come down, huh, man? You need to, what?
Hey, you said white privilege woke him up.
Well, Zach, we just said a term that was a buzzkill for you, huh, man?
Trigger word.
You know it's funny. Yes, it's real funny. I think this is going to be my Magnum Carta when I piss a lot of people. Well, then again, I couldn't do better. I'm probably not going to do better no time soon than the Kevin Samuels delete, but this is close. And it is funny when white people say, we don't have privilege. Okay, Zach, I'm going to ask you this one question. Would you trade places with a black man?
He's going to lie, but go ahead.
Yeah, and hold on, if he would, then tell us why you would.
And we're not talking about the porn stars, nigga, you nasty bastard.
Hey, and speaking, it's white privilege in the porn game. Who runs the porn industry? They paint black men as these sexual deviants, but look up any category on porn. You think it's a black dude that owns Pornhub, X videos, and all of this stuff?
Hell no.
Come on now.
Oh.
Well, I ain't mad at him because if I could own that shit, I would.
Shout out to Ebo Sosa for the cash apps. Woo! Like, share, and subscribe.
Bro, they got something called black.com where it's just Mandingo warriors banging a bunch of blonde bunnies. You think it's a black dude that owns that?
No.
White men love it.
Dudes on some cuckold shit.
Wait a minute. I've never.
We have a porn draft. The biggest dicks. Come out dick swinging. Okay. The white boy from Arizona has the 5th pick in the draft. Okay.
So we got like they got to see how many times they can lift a weight 20 times.
Yeah.
The cock Olympics.
The cock Olympics. He's got a 10-inch dick with 7 inches of girth, right?
A goddamn soda bottle. What the fuck an aerosol can? What the fuck? Like, goddamn.
Degree difficulty 6.9.
His nickname is Jawbreaker.
Yeah, but you can always tell black porn between white porn because in black porn that nigga always saying something.
Yeah,
I'm like, why don't you niggas shut up?
Yeah, they got to talk. Women like to hear you to talk to them when you're fucking them.
Yeah,
They
they
like
want
you to
to talk
talk.
mad
Yeah.
shit. They want to
They
feel
want you
like
to
a
talk
slut.
mad shit.
Well, I ain't talking about that type of talking.
What
I'm
is
talking about that kind of dumb shit when they come in there where they trying to, have a narrative. I'm simply like,
They ain't got
talking
no
about?
narrative.
Here you
Yeah,
go.
take
Fuck.
your
Hey,
clothes off. Get busy.
hey,
Steve
them
said it
porn though,
there.
they always got.
I never owned a black person. Yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of illegal now, but yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
surprised.
I mean, but
But bent over, I've never been a slave either. So yeah, I guess we're equal.
I
Bro,
mean,
I ain't
that
never been bent
narrative of
over
I
either.
never owned a slave. Now
yeah,
the people keep saying I never owned a slave. It's just like I never lynched anybody. No, you was just in the crowd watching it.
but here's the
I
problem. Of course, they never owned a slave because some of slaves were leased. But anyway,
Mm-hmm.
but let's talk about this. Did
Hey, you didn't own one, but you
did-
benefited from
hold
them, and I can prove
hold
that.
on. Did your people benefit from the adverse effects of slavery?
You know what? Officer Charles, I never owned a slave, man. Come on.
Yeah, man, yes, bullshit.
I
Yeah,
never owned a
I'm
slave.
pretty.
I'm not responsible. Come
I
on.
noticed all the white guys, even the
I
guys,
never watched a lynching either. You probably did.
even
But,
even
Hey,
even
I
fellas,
never flew any planes into 9/11. Why did my taxpayer dollars go to that? I didn't. I'm not bombing any Ukrainians. Why are billions of taxpayer? You know what I mean? Like, how far do we want to go with this?
do you think? Wait a minute. Hold up. Hey Ben, I want you and Zach
bend over. You don't get the
bend
joke though,
over.
right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course bend. You know he always bends
Giggity.
over.
Giggity.
Buck breaking,
Buck breaker. Now,
buck
we
broken
about to get
Ben.
one of those. We got to
Broke
get one
back.
of those Big Ben.
Re-
Big Ben
Never
buck.
Remember,
benefited from
I have to
slavery.
tell Zach.
Broke
I
back
have to
Ben.
tell. I have to tell. I have to tell Zach and Ben just to let you know. Old Town Road is only a shortcut for Brokeback Mountain, so y'all have there you go.
Hey,
Down to the downtown
little
town.
little
I
Ben
wonder if his
X.
friend's name is Tampa. Like I
Oh,
said, I wonder if his friend's name
Okay,
is. He's got a friend named
so
Coin.
the social benefits of resembling the oppressor, who simultaneously is the most advertisable, marketable human being on the planet, is no benefit. Being able to slip into any role, regardless of your economic status, is no benefit. I can't do that. I don't think anybody else over here can either. Right. Moving along.
but it's funny because when guys come up here with their bend overs and their Zacks and for some reason I like to break this out. Even the instructor whose course I'm taking, even he had to admit race and the racism that goes on. And it's funny. Y'all can't even keep it a buck with us. That's what really pisses black people off when we talk to other races of people. Y'all can't even keep it steady. And then you come up here with these troll accounts. And here's the fucked up part. Y'all the niggas who got the little twink culture, the cuckold. Y'all the ones who want to see a massive black guy eviscerate your fucking your wife. Like, that's not us. That's you.
Well, wait a minute.
They started the cuck culture.
But wait a minute. When it comes to this racism, I mean, didn't Samuel Alito just address that in reference to abortion?
Mm-hmm.
And that story it's not getting any airtime. I only read it in the Huffington Post.
I mean, if you really think about it, and how many years did black women abort babies? How many did they say?
Oof, God.
About what?
I know they represent 38% of all the abortions.
Like about 27 million, 20 million.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
yeah, give or take.
If you think about it, black women took out more fucking babies than most tyrants in countries.
Mm.
Put shit in perspective, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I want you to really think about that. You've aborted more kids than certain tyrants killed citizens. You've already destroyed your army. But then you want to talk about how black men ain't doing such and such, insert complaint here. But
And
yet,
Congress was all for it.
yeah.
Ruth Bader Ginsburg was all for it.
But get the logic on this. The justification for even stating that the child is not even a life in the first place is by stating that it somehow would be stopped or fueled or halted in development, when under most cases, over 70% of the time, if you allow the fetus to develop, it'll become a living life. So it doesn't logically even make sense. But we still here.
First of all, here's how you defeat the notion, right?
Yeah.
Inside your sac is the sperm, right?
Yes.
Is sperm a living organism?
Yes, it is.
To an extent, yes. It is DNA matter as well.
No, it's a living. It lives.
Yeah.
It's living. Yeah, it
It's
swims.
right?
It
It
swims.
swims.
Yeah.
So when you skeet up in a chick, right, and it goes through all the canals, and it hits that egg, which is inert till the egg is actually fertilized. How the fuck could you logically? And I mean, we do have a fucking a biochemist and some other PhDs in STEM on speed dial, by the way, who will tell you life never started with you; it started with us.
Exactly.
So how the fuck do you get to choose your abortion and say it's our right and our choice, when first and foremost you got 50% of my genetic material making that motherfucker? Then on top of that, like I had to ask my friend, when are we allowed to financially abort something we didn't ask for? Like if I'm test driving the car and I don't want the car, am I allowed to take it back and not pay for it? But with kids, for some odd reason, we gotta be on the hook about everything. But yet, nobody talks about that bitch with 4 fucking kids from 4 men. Y'all don't be trying to say, oh, yeah, we don't take care of their kids. But y'all don't want to put shit into logic because it's going to make fucking sense. And if you really want to fight the argument, when does life start? It starts with the man. Like it, loathe it, but like Thanos, the motherfucker is inevitable.
And I'm going to go ahead and be controversial because I believe that life starts at, new human life starts at conception. Plain and simple. That little clump of cells is nothing but a human being in its initial stages of being. Plain and simple. There is none of this bullshit about, because personhood doesn't start until you're born, but that's illegal. That's something that's legal. But as far as life goes, I haven't seen a scientific argument to counter it yet.
And you won't. You know why? Because if you actually use logic and hold these bitches accountable, I had to tell females this. How the fuck do I feel sorry for a bitch that got 33 different ways of not getting pregnant? Pick a struggle, please. That's like me saying, you know what, Charles, when you out to wrestle, why did you use that illegal hold? It was the only hold I know. You dumb motherfucker, there's 3,000 fucking holds in every position. You have options. That just tells you that modern women don't think that they should be responsible for shit. Y'all lucky a motherfucker like me isn't president, because I would make executive orders to make you bitches suffer, man. And I'm a nice guy.
And it'll probably help them. That's the worst part about it. And they wouldn't even know it.
I'll be like this. If you don't marry the man, no child support. No stamps, no nothing.
That's the way it used to be before 1960.
Exactly.
We going back, since you want to make America great again, shit, we gonna make it great. You know how we gonna make it great? Get you bitches back in line. And people be like, oh, you calling them bitches. I said, well, I'm gonna tell you the same thing I told this one chick. I never had to call a lady a bitch.
Hey, it's a lot of these major corporations that need to be held account too, because they don't want to give these workers no raises. They don't got no money for that. But suddenly, Amazon, Tesla, Starbucks, they all came out and said if they state bans the abortion, that they gonna help pay for transportation and stuff. So hold on, like you won't give people pay, but somehow y'all got a stash fund to fly people to California or whatever state to get an abortion. Like that I
I
don't know.
mean,
People
Wait a
just not
minute.
seeing the con game.
If they're workers, or they're trying to they're trying to retain the elite white workers that they have.
exactly.
But
And
it's
let's
even,
not forget the fact that in Citizens United,
Yeah, but
you know,
good. But the abortion overturning Roe v. Wade is not going to affect. I would say the top 20 to 30% of women. It's actually going to affect the bottom 70.
exactly. But I mean, with Citizens United, corporations are doing this shit because number one, anything that they spend is now free speech. Anything that they spend on whatever, because it went beyond political campaigns. So when a corporation makes these proclamations and what they're going to be spending, number one, they're going to write the shit off, and number two, they're just reinforcing their own sense of free speech.
Yeah.
And that's powerful when it comes to social capital.
Correct. Yeah, and the government is subsidizing all of this. So you're right about that.
It always has.
Mm-hmm.
It always has until it doesn't want to subsidize it anymore.
why do you dumb motherfuckers come here? I don't care about life. My argument is that I value the precious conscience experience. We end life all the time, so that's not a good argument.
They're peaking and they can't
Spiritual miracle bullshit.
they're peaking and they can't sleep. So.
Oh my gosh!
Say what happened, man? Your wife's black boyfriend was too much to bear again. God damn.
Funny thing about
Monster
this,
Cuck.
How
He wouldn't
bad is
share.
it? Ask your wife's black boyfriend. How does it feel to have two sets of lips on his shit? Remember that old commercial? My wife sucked that black man's dick, and the nigga in the back like, nah, hell. Goddamn, you pitiful motherfuckers. Y'all don't even know how to argue.
tell me, I mean, really, think about this shit, dude. At some point in your life, you were pre 20 to 24 weeks. I mean, does it even click with you? At one point, you existed before this benchmark that you're placing on everyone else.
Yep. You did exist. You just wanted the lucky ones to get there first.
Yep.
You got to remember, there's how many billion of a chance for you to make it here? Mm-hmm. I mean, you know what? I question strongly anybody who's a male who is pro Roe v. Wade. I swear to God, people on my Facebook are lucky. I didn't feel like going in that day, because when they put up a picture, hell,
I don't know.
BGS slipped out the cracks, like Batman under night, and I'm like this. I strongly look at men very weirdly. I strongly look at men very weirdly who supports abortion.
That's cool.
You know what, Charles? You know what my stance is on abortion, right? We talked about it last time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, and I explained why. I look at abortion in its practicality. I look at women and say, "Is that your? Do you have to act like that's your only choice? You have other forms of contraceptives."
You telling me you can't take a fucking plan B, and you got 72 motherfucking hours?
I'll give you an example. Up here, over here, if a woman wants to get a morning after pill, she has to go directly to the pharmacy without a doctor's prescription. But she has to take. But what they do when she needs to get that morning after pill. She goes to the pharmacy, lets them know. They take her in the back and they give it to her. They have to make sure she takes it. She can't just sneak it in and hand it to somebody else and shit like that.
Yeah, because let's be serious, right? You literally, if you didn't want to have a baby, stop fucking. But no, you like raw dick. You like raw. Just admit that you like that raw dick, and you just love it.
Yeah, I had that conversation with an ex about that. I mean, she had just gotten off a relationship with a woman because she goes both ways. But when we got together, I insist on using protection because I asked her if she was on the pill or whatnot. She said no, she wasn't. I said, all right, I'm assisting in protection. And then when she asked me if she got on the pill, would I stop using condoms? I said no. And understand, this is the same woman who I mentioned before, who asked if I should move, who thought about me moving in with her. And I was like, nah.
Mm-hmm.
Never move
And
in.
you know
So
what?
like, and
They
this is a
get
white woman,
pissed.
first of all, folks.
Yeah.
It was right for me to say no because then I said, look, I didn't want to put, because I looked at it from a righteous standpoint. I was like, no. I don't want to have any mix-ups, any foul-ups. And, I was in a bad situation. My situation was not all that good at the time. I mean, my paperwork was still in question at the time. So after we broke up, that's when things.
What's up, Khalil?
Things worked out to be better for me.
See, I'm gonna tell you this, man. It just tells you how pathetic. Women want the right, literally, of life and death over their children.
Yeah, but over here, like, oh, sorry, go ahead.
And that's disturbing. But yet, why are there no options for the man to take the baby? You have it. If you don't want nothing to do with it, guess what? The man said he wanted, takes it, go. And my friend said, how many times did that happen? I said, black men are the ultimate fathers. See, the problem is we're too good of fathers, better than you fucking deserve. Because I really wish, assalamu alaikum. So I'm just gonna say it. Black fathers tend to be too damn good for the mothers they sire. And I'm just like, how the fuck do you complain about a man giving food to his child? But see, this is the reason why being with a single mother is full of shit. It's because she expects you to do for all the children, not just yours. I remember when I was dating this one girl, and Christmas time came, and she had 3 children from her previous marriage. And I'm like, yo, you do know you need to give my son 3 gifts. Why? Because I'm getting a gift for each one of your kids. You want to talk about fair? You coming up 3, and all you got to do is give 1? The fuck out of here. But yet, women be like, well, you don't have to take care of them. If you get with a chick, when does she not think you're going to do for her kids?
That's some bullshit. And I tell people all the time, if you bring home a pizza, right, and her kid reach for a slice, and you say, nah, kid, what is she gonna say? Oh, my kid can't have a slice? I thought you said I didn't have to pay for them. So why the hell they reaching for my pizza? So like you saying, you do have to pay for it. If I'm paying the bills and this kid is over here playing PlayStation all night, right? Playing Fortnite to the wee hours in the morning, I'm paying for that. How there's no way of skirting that financial responsibility.
Yeah, culturally, black people have always taken care of the children anyway. That's been in our culture for the longest time. So, as unfair as it is, it's pretty normal for a black woman to expect this type of thing out of a man because that's traditionally what we've done.
And see, that's the problem. They get mad when black men start evolving and looking like they're about to, invoke the powers of fucking Grayskull, and you're not allowed to leave your position. You're not allowed to, get to your ultimate form. You standing over a bitch like this, Just saying, oh, you really think I'm gonna go? Man, fuck this kid. Fuck you too. Bam, right in the face.
Yeah.
If you really thinking that it's gonna be fair to really penalize my child over your stupidity, you think that's fair? Why the fuck does my kid gotta suffer because your other baby daddies ain't shit? But yet, that shows how terrible you are as a fucking parent. I'm gonna say this, and I hope somebody clips this shit. And I don't give a fuck because this shit is real shit. When women are left to their own devices to pick men, you don't pick the best men. You just don't. I don't know a fucking good example of too many women picking the best possible fucking choice. There's very far and few between. There's very far and few between. Okay? Because when women are given the choice to pick their mates, instead of actually having their fathers do it, the men of their family do it, you pick the worst segment of fucking men. You are horrible. The greatest gift a mother can do is to give her child the best possible father she can get. But what do? You pick fucking drug dealers?
Oh, black daddies ain't shit. Black men don't take care of their kids. Black
No,
men are other individuals ever.
no, black men just don't want to be paying for pussy they don't use anymore. The end.
Yep.
Good answer.
And here's the crazy part about it. Every time I talk to all different economic fucking ladder of black women, not one motherfucker says y'all do a good job of fucking picking men. Y'all have fun, you end up having sex, but you pick poor fucking fathers. Why? Because y'all don't think fathers are needed. Y'all don't think fathers are needed. You really don't respect masculinity, let alone fatherhood. As long as you got big daddy government to give you a boost, as long as you can use your feminine privilege for motherfuckers to feel sorry for your ass. Every educated or well off in a professional job, I see women not picking men equal or greater than them. I've had to ask many of women, you picked a provider job, what's wrong with you taking care of a man? Oh, it's like I said before. Would you give up your job to give it to a man so he could take care of you? No. Why? Because you don't trust him. What? Go ahead.
I just want to say you hit it right on the head. You don't trust them, but the most demented and diabolical part about it is due to Stockholm syndrome or whatever. I don't want to diagnose someone, but due to the traits of that, they will identify with their oppressor more. Like they'll complain about colorism, and then the main people that promote colorism, that's who they'll side with. They'll complain about racism and I don't want to be controlled and smash the patriarchy, right? And then they're caping to be the loyal subject of a patriarch, you know what I mean, just of a different ethnic group, you know what I mean. And it's like, oh, you black men don't build, I'm a divest. And you know, where though? You know, it's not like it's a bunch of other men lining up for you. So you tear down the men and say you men are inadequate, and then you want those same men that you think is dumb and inadequate to come and save you, right? And like you were saying, men that you hear this black girl magic and just everything for the boys is just non-existent. And it's like, we care about the boys. Well, where's that same energy? The boys are ultimately going to be tasked to lead, provide, and protect for this community, provide stability and infrastructure. So they need to be ahead of these girls. But there's no programs or no push or promotion to put the boys ahead. Like you in that scenario you named, a lot of those boss chicks and boss babes and I'm a bad bitch, they wouldn't give up their position to give it to a man, but they want the powerful position to be a man and feel like a man, and somehow they still want a man ahead of them. It's like some weird it's hypergamous equality, right? You want someone ahead of you, a higher social economic status, but still on the equal level. How the hell are we equal? I'm better than you. Oh, don't say that. No, the only reason why you're choosing me is because I'm better than you. I'm better than you financially, better with business acumen. I'm a better leader. I am better than you. That's why you want to choose me, because I'm ahead of you. But then when you lay it out like that, they don't like those words, even though that's the exact context that they quote unquote want a high value man. They want a man that's better than them. They don't want to do this perceived as lesser than them, even though your manhood and masculinity is not solely tied to finances. But if you're earning 90,000 and she's earning 130, are we gonna act like she doesn't think that she's better than you in that scenario? You know what I mean?
But just mean, let's be truthful here.
Of course she does.
One of the things that women, especially black women, fail to see is the big picture. I don't care how much money a woman makes, she will always be dependent on the men in her society. Mm-hmm. Because without those men, there would be no society. No infrastructure, like you stated, nothing.
There wouldn't be no money. There would be no money. There would be easy ways to get
you're
it.
Exactly right. There would
in other ways, you'd have to kill like me and the other heathens that you look down upon.
Right, because even the
toil in the street, you judge
even
that.
the abstractions built by men, and that's just, I mean, like money is an abstraction. The laws were drafted by men. Like I said, everything in the society, no matter which one you go to, whether it be Japan, United States, Europe, Africa, all of this shit was built by men. So I don't care what they say. They're always. Yeah, go ahead.
Do you recall James Brown had a song called "This Is a Man's World"?
Oh yes, I listened to it quite often.
Patrice O'Neal played that song, and and if you listen to the lyrics carefully, James Brown wasn't lying, because he explained how men contribute to society. That's in those days. Now, of course, he did say it would be nothing without a woman, but
with a woman like you, yeah. But when you got to put that "like you" in it, because James Brown's, he dealt with some hoes too, a lot of them.
Oh, he did. Mm-hmm. I mean, you ever heard of the name Joe Cox?
Joe Cocker?
Joe Cox.
No.
Okay, Joe Cox was a contemporary James Brown, and both men were accusing each other of stealing the other one's style. You know how they be like dancing, bow jiving, just kicking the mic stand and everything. And apparently, what happened was there was a woman that was in Joe Cox's band that Cox was involved with that James Brown stole from him. And Joe Cox wrote a diss track called "You Keep Her," where he addresses James and tells her, yeah, I did all this down here. It's kind of like Warren G. Jones and The Rain in a sense. Mm-hmm. And if you ever seen the show on HBO called Tales from the Tour Bus, they talk about that incident. Apparently, Otis Redding found himself in the crossfire accidentally. That's all I'm going to say about it.
Maybe I need to watch Tales from the Tour Bus.
Tales from the Tour Bus. I see him one or two.
Yeah, but I don't understand where this. You know what it is, Charles? It's with the increase of the I noticed with the increase of these racial incidents, there's also been an increase with the counter narrative. So there's always something pushing in the back.
Are you also aware that Superman is also the proper name of that fictional character? So one, put an uppercase S because you're talking.
Right.
2, no shit, Sherlock. 3, you're blocked. 5. See, a lot of this shit before we go, and I want everybody to get their last word. See, you're not gonna have and Dead Set, Namer, Pookie, and Be Easy been following me for a minute. Very rarely do you have something in depth that talks about racism like this. And notice, we barely talked about black women, didn't we, fellas? Barely, barely talked.
You want to talk about racism? I mean, you want to talk about racism? I can give you a couple examples of the worst forms of racism in Africa. No, because it's one of them would have to be part of my history.
Greg.
That's
because guess
another
what?
time.
Because guess what? The reason why women act a certain way is because they got a fucking government that supports them to do such.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
When you take away the indoctrination and the incentivization, you get to the fucking problem. And guess what? You think these other races of women who are in these the same fucking colleges these black women are going to are any fucking different? No. The problem is this: how do we make black men get pushed forward? How do we make sure they are taught well? Don't talk to me about racism don't talk to me about another goddamn gynocracy if only 8%, only 10% of black boys in the 8th grade can read on level. You will never conquer the gynocracy till you do something about racism. You just sat here and heard Dead Set have to fight tooth and nail to get his son back.
Yes, sir. 2 straight years.
2 years. Years. And you're gonna tell me that you got privilege in this fucking system? Either you a fucking liar, or you telling the fucking dishonest statements for money, and now you just a fucking patsy. But anyway, we're gonna get it on with the final words. We're gonna go with Naima, Pookie, Be Easy, then Dead Sets last.
Well, Charles, thanks for having me. Like as usual, it's a thrill, a lot of insight, and of course, as I always say, brother, you ain't shit, and God bless you for it. Good night.
Anything less would be civilized. Whoa, Pookie.
But yeah, a lot of you black people in 10 to 15 years, a lot of these recordings are going to make you guys sound extremely idiotic, and no one's going to really look at you as a point of reference for anything. You guys are going to be held in that comical regard and comical section, same as Roy Martin, pretty much spitting retired, outdated talking points that don't really hold any relevancy to what's actually happening in the world with China and these other countries, which you guys are neglecting to factor.
Yep. Be Easy, you're next.
All right, yeah. Thank you for having me up, Charles. You do. I have been following you for a while, and I don't see you always constantly like beating the racism drum. I don't think you are a gold medalist in the Victim Olympics, you know what I mean? But we can't act like we don't see this shit or don't know this shit. For people who are American, let's just say that, right? And we're saying this is the greatest nation and we're so smart and we have all these prestigious institutions, but then somehow it's just a blind spot when it comes to racism. Suddenly you just get dumb when it comes to racism, or you do recognize it, but you want to sugarcoat it and say, oh, well, it's not as bad. That's like someone that was graping 20 people every week and now he's only graping 10 people. Technically, it's not as bad, but it's still grape, right? So racism is like there's no mild racism, right? Racism used to be severe and now it's mild, as if that's any better or anything to celebrate. And I can go just on and on, and give a tirade about racism in itself. And they really want us to stop talking about it, but no other group is stopping. You see anti-hate bills popping up everywhere. Anti-Semitism bills passed for Jewish people. Anti-crime bills passed for Asians. that apparently include people, but you can't say anti-black. That's a form of racism right there. You know what I mean? And we got to have many discussions like this. People want you to have one long discussion about racism and then stop. And it continues to happen every day. It happens so subtly in the housing market, in education, and even in the media. The depictions and portrayals. So a lot of it is rooted in racism, not only white supremacy, but I would say more so than white supremacy, we should say anti-blackness. You could say both, but let's make sure that we do say both, because white supremacy people limit it and say, well, I'm not white. Well, a lot of these other groups, Asian, Latino, etc., even some Africans is darker than you, they identify as white when they come over here to inflate their numbers and to undercount our numbers, because we are more than 13% of the population. You know what I mean? So I'll just leave it with that.
I'll just say this. I've said this since the shooting in Buffalo and the shooting in Uvalde. White supremacy is not just for white people. Never was, never planned to. There's a reason why you go into a black home, you see a white Jesus. Every other race of people worship a God that looks like them, except us. And if you're telling me just because I love my people doesn't make me anti-white, but a lot of these people who talk about there's no racism, guess what? Stop trying to say the man who cut off your arm is a nice guy only because he handed you a bandage to put over the wound. Do I think that all white people are racist? No. I have some white friends, yes. But even they will tell you there's a difference of culture. There's a difference in things that if they choose to get away with. And it's very disingenuous to tell motherfuckers that racism isn't the biggest thing. And last but not least, we got the man, the myth, the legend, the winner of children, the father of the year, the Black Fred Astaire, did say.
I like language and working on my Portuguese. So when it comes to racism, I say one thing: doce veneno, sweet poison. No matter how sweet that poison is, it's still poison. And that's what the coons figure out once they get that nigga wake up call. Racism, when people talk about racism, you have to think of it in terms of tribalism. Tribalism don't end. We all live in tribes. So what I would urge people to do is take hold of the history, see how racism has impacted us in the past, because it's definitely still impacting us the same way, and then take those reins of power. Because once we get on top, we don't have to fight to stay on top if we can get on top in the first place. So I'm not really arguing about racism so much, even though it is impactful. I just want us to compete. And that way I can have my white slaves. Peace.
Oh, man. I'm going to say this, man. I'm going to say this. Look, I know it's all these trolls. I wish y'all actually had a fucking life. Because it's disturbing. It really is disturbing. Y'all rather troll about such a serious topic than to actually be something of a person of action or problem solving. But like I said, guns free, eliminate trolls. If you have nothing positive to say to the conversation, you're getting blocked. There ain't no timing out. We block motherfuckers here. One shot, one kill in that chat room. Remember, right? I want you to remember. Dylan Roof prayed with the people before he murdered them. Put that in context. Dylan Roof prayed with his victims before murdering them. Y'all the ones who always talk about you will not be replaced. You made up the narratives of racism. Is it all white people? No. But do all white people benefit from racism and white supremacy? Nobody wants to answer that, do they? That's why it's very hard for a lot of you idiots out there to talk about race. Because the people you hold in such high regard, ask them if they would trade spaces with you. If they could be treated like a black man for one day, would they do it? And you already know the answer. You already know the answer. Till next time, folks. And I was waiting for an intelligent person to come on here and speak who wanted to debate. But as you're saying early in the show, you got these idiots who don't even know what the fuck they're fighting. Shout out to all the guests who were up here tonight. See, a lot of times before I go, I'm going to say this. There's too many people out there, and I screenshot a lot of people in that chat with Supreme King Coon. When I put it out there, if you're really for patriarchy and you really a conservative brother, why don't you support my GoFundMe? And I saw a lot of you Negroes. I ain't supporting shit. Blah, blah, blah. Don't talk to me anymore. Don't talk to me. So you ready to support your brothers, regardless of your religion, regardless of your economic status, regardless of your occupation? You're no longer an ally. Go over there to the enemy side, because you're no damn good to me. If you'll help anybody else and you don't even try to help your own, what good are you to me? It's a damn shame. In my own damn community, I could get more love from a white guy I don't know than people who lived on my block for years. And we got white guys who speak about racism and know how race plays a part in this fucking country. But we still got jackasses who are black who don't even understand this. Something's wrong, man. Something is seriously wrong. It's disgusting. And for those of you who are willing to play the coon role, shame on you. Shame on you. And I'm going to tell you the same thing what you need to do. Get your 30 pieces of silver and get the fuck away from the people trying to make something happen. That's all you are. Bunch of fucking Judases. You won't go to the pro-black channels and say that rhetoric. Hell, you won't even go to the white manosphere because you already know how a lot of those guys will treat you. But that right there is for another conversation for another day. Woo! Everybody, be fruitful, be prosperous, be healthy, be safe. And by the way, I'm not teaching anything about hate. And I'm proud of my friends who are non-black and recognize that I'm proud to be black. I'm unapologetically black in front of whites, Samoans, Hispanics, Asians, everybody. I'm going to be me regardless of you. Are you brave enough to do the same? Woo! We out.